Hi, everybody, and welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, Episode 8. I'm your host, and with me, as always, is my co-host and teenage son, Jackson. Say hello, Jack.
Welcome back, folks.
Hi, everybody. So, obviously, the first thing we need to discuss, the most important thing, is the Raptors season is over.
Uh-huh.
I know you don't really care, but yeah,
well,
they were
I hardly know, so.
knocked out of the playoffs last night by the Boston Celtics, upsetting. We will not successfully defend our 2019 championship, but that's okay. It's amazing how much better I take their losses when they've just recently won a championship than if they hadn't. I would have been furious last night, but you know, it's easy to. So I guess I'm wearing a Raptors hat and a Pete Dunne shirt, neither of whom are working at their jobs currently. Right?
Correct.
So in your life, you had your first day of school yesterday. How was that?
Yeah, and I'm kind of full because I just ate KFC.
So you're just glossing over the fact that you had your first day of
It was
pandemic
fine.
time school.
It was fine.
It was fine. You had to wear a mask. There was only 5 kids. You're in a staggered start,
Yeah,
right?
because they're doing alphabetical grouping until Wednesday, and you can really tell how even it is when the first group was 11 and this one was 5.
Yeah, perfect. Very even distribution. But other than that, school was okay. I guess you had no major issues.
It's fine.
Good. That's great. All right. So I guess we could move into our first segment if you're ready. You?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So that's news and rumors. And we always start off with the ratings from this week's shows. So AEW, guess what they averaged this week?
Something good.
Over 1 million. 1,016,000 viewers. So this is since we've been doing the podcast the first time they've been over 1 million viewers. I looked it up. It's actually their first time over 1 million since October of last year. So that's awesome. Not only that,
Right,
but
because that would have been when they were debuting.
right, when they were just fresh and everyone was watching.
There was like a lot of hype behind it.
Also, the demographic, the key 18 to 49, they were number 1. So that is also huge for them. Making it even more impressive is the fact that they were up against a really big NBA basketball game. It was the Celtics Raps game, but not the final one, but before. So that's even more impressive. NXT had a good week. They 838,000, slightly down from last week, and a 0.22 in the key demographic.
Which
also
I think
down.
is fair because I think last week's Super Tuesday was pretty good with the Iron Man match. I really liked that.
It was.
So.
Yeah, like they had I guess they didn't have long to promote that, but they did promote it so as best they could. So bottom line is AEW had a huge week in both average viewers and demographic, and NXT had a good week. So that's good.
But just average, really?
Yeah, pretty much. Slightly down from last week, but still one of their better ratings.
Right.
Any news from
so
you?
I was browsing a website to look for news, and apparently Impact star Crazy Steve is blind. And he's been wrestling blind for like a while.
What? Like he's actually blind?
Yeah, I think he's actually blind.
Interesting.
That's pretty crazy.
Is this falling under news or rumors? Is this actual news?
Yeah, I think so. Like he said he's blind, and that's pretty insane.
If he is, that's interesting. Yeah, for sure. Because I'm trying to think of now in Wrestle House and stuff. Did I see him do anything? I don't know. I try to block that portion of my life out, I think, of watching Wrestle House. So I can't remember anything specifically. Yeah. I do like him, though. He's actually a good wrestler, and his character's kind of interesting. He's just never had a major role.
Yeah.
I had Tay Conti is officially signed with AEW.
After competing in the Women's Tag Cup alongside Anna Jay, and she did compete on the Dynamite that we're going to cover later.
Yep. FNS Wrestling likes her, right? We both are fans of Tay.
She's fine in NXT, not because she was bad, but just because she wasn't used for much.
No, and I think she's just still learning.
She
and
deserves the spot.
So.
She's not. I don't think it's fair to call her a former NXT person when she really did nothing. So.
And AEW needs to improve that division, so I don't blame them for trying. Right.
And it also kind of more of a national representation there because she's Brazilian or whatever. So that's another place that you're representing.
That makes them more international. Yeah, they could have some appeal elsewhere. That's true.
My next one is Tessa Blanchard returning to wrestling. She's competing on some indie card thing. I forgot what it's called, but she's returning after her recent Impact firing.
Yes.
Good for her. She's a good wrestler. So
she's amazing. I mean, personality-wise, obviously, there's some reports out there that she's not maybe the nicest person in the world, but
I mean, when we met her, she was fine. But
yes, we have met her.
That might just be because that's
Aunt Tessa.
Because maybe that's because they got to.
There's a running joke in our household that any wrestler we've met or spoken to for even a second is either a close personal friend or our relatives, right? That's
Right,
my
okay.
Uncle Brian Cage, Aunt Tessa. So yeah, she's incredible. She's probably my favorite women's wrestler, everything else aside, and just watching her perform in the ring. So yeah, I guess she's working.
My next one, it's not my next one in my order, but I do want to just say because I feel like it's interesting. Santino Marella reportedly wanting to return to WWE as a commentator.
He could do that for sure.
Right?
But if they let him, I don't know, if they make
if he did it in character, then that'd be ridiculous.
Right, but if he is actually himself, he's very knowledgeable.
I just found this interesting because, I don't know, I don't think anybody's really, like, he hasn't been exactly in the focus of the wrestling community for some time.
Yep, and what's our connection with him?
Oh yeah, he runs the Battle Arts Academy here.
We went to see what there. Do you remember?
Impact.
Yeah, we saw our second round of Impact tapings we saw there, right?
And they have, like, pictures on the outside of him with, like, his championships that he's won.
Yeah, he was there. I saw him. I went outside to put something in the car, and he was there, yeah. Mm-hmm. Didn't talk to him or anything, but he was there. So he's just an acquaintance then. He's not a close personal friend or relative, so he just saw him.
Yeah,
sure. My next point was that the WWE has clarified its position on third-party outlets. We didn't really talk about their original position. Originally, it was reported that they were basically shutting down all of their employees from doing anything on YouTube, Twitch. I forget what the Cameo, I think, is one. Just sort of them making money off of their WWE image on some third-party platform that WWE doesn't own. So they've since sort of clarified or backtracked. I'm not sure which. Maybe the rumors just weren't correct. So they are still allowing YouTube and Twitch for their employees, but not using their WWE name. So this has prompted a few stars to have changed their profiles because they were using their WWE names. So it raises an interesting question of, like, what if you're wrestling in the WWE under your actual name?
Ooh.
Right?
Like John Cena. He's not.
Sure, but as an example.
Right, or Kurt Angle, I think.
Right, for sure. So, I don't know what that means. It's basically they're just trying to stop their employees, their independent contractors, right, from making money off of the property that WWE created, I guess.
Correct.
But it seems like YouTube and Twitch were the two big ones the employees were fighting against, so they got that at least, or they're allowed to keep, but they can't use their.
I think the Cameo is an interesting one because I think it's a cool thing, a way for just
them to make extra money.
No, but like also just to like kind of also sort of reach out to people, just like I don't know, it's just probably cool for people. So I think it's a shame that one's not gonna be allowed because I feel like you were saying if the family pays for like a birthday shout out for like their kid, that's cool.
Yep,
right?
they'll do a personalized like video message if you pay whatever. I think they charge varying rates based on their fame.
Right, but like now you can't, right? So.
Yep. So I think maybe feels like someone told Vince how much these guys are making on YouTube and Twitch and stuff. Maybe I don't know what they're making, but clearly Vince doesn't want them doing it.
Because if you get famous on YouTube, you probably make a killing.
Well, let's hope we find out. With our massive following, right? Loyal listeners, hardcore.
Like 5.
You have anything else?
So we got a new Firefly Funhouse character debuting on last night's SmackDown.
Which was? I have heard
Wobbly
nothing.
Walrus.
A walrus. I like walrus.
It seemed to be a rib. Why did I say wib? Whatever. Rib on Paul Heyman, 'cause he was like, my name is Wobbly Walrus, and I'm because he was, the Vince McMahon puppet brought him in as an advisor for the Firefly Funhouse, so what happened on the episode was, Bray was going to reveal a new character. It was Pasquale the Persevering Parrot.
Sure.
But he forgot to put holes in the box, so it was dead.
Okay.
And then the Vince McMahon character got mad at him for losing the Universal title and not being responsible with the parrot person thing, and then brought in Wobbly Walrus.
So that makes sense because all of the puppets are representations of some character or phase of Bray's career, it feels like. Mostly.
But Heyman, I feel like, is kind of confusing. Maybe when the Wyatt family were feuding with Brock, but that was a brief and unimportant part of his career.
I don't know how he fits in exactly either.
Maybe it's not just Paul Heyman, though. Maybe it represents something more. We just don't know yet.
Or it's just the Roman Reigns connection. They're throwing him in there.
Maybe, yeah. We'll see. But I'm always up for something new in the Firefly Funhouse. I've always enjoyed this.
You have. Yep.
I really enjoyed this chapter of Bray Wyatt's career, and
it's one of the things you get excited for when it comes on.
I always check it out if the clip on YouTube.
Yep.
But yeah, so interesting to see a new character. It's been a while since we actually got a new character. I feel like the last character we got was the Vince McMahon character or
Which
Huskus,
is a fun one.
Whichever one was first. But yeah.
Still surprised he allows that. Like,
right.
It's basically him as Satan in a puppet form, right?
Right.
But
yeah, so cool new character for
awesome.
5FNS. Do you have anything else?
I was reading one today that I don't have too many details, that more WWE cuts, but just to backstage, not on-air talent. Something like reports of possibly up to 70 people, which is obviously not great, especially if there's not a lot of jobs right now.
And when they don't need to.
Based on their profits and things, we talk about it most weeks, right? Their record-breaking profits, but still making cuts. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's tough to root for.
Yeah.
And the other point I had was that ROH is returning with its first show since March.
Yep, they got a pure title tournament
going
up. Pure title, from what I can conclude, was a title retired in the mid 2000s that they had.
Yes.
They're bringing it back now, so.
And this could really benefit ROH because you and I have both tried to check in on this product from time to time, and it's
especially when Impact was kind of lacking.
It's pretty much unwatchable. Like I'll watch
so much recapping.
I watch some pretty weak shows and enjoy them in wrestling wise, but I can't watch Ring of Honor the way it had been for the last. It felt like it was they were just taking matches from various house show locations and patching them together with no
pay-per-view or something.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. Anyway,
just it was like highlight or like just random matches from random things.
And hopefully they use this time to like reset
together.
Almost, right, and come back with something fresh, because there was a time where Ring of Honor was amazing back before
it was like the best thing.
New wrestling existed, but it was pretty fun for a while. Anything else under news?
Yeah. So I read a thing about Finn Balor on moving back to NXT. He says it was definitely the right move, and he said that the Demon wasn't cut out for the fast-paced main roster kind of thing. Right. Yeah. And it should have been handled better, which I think is fair to say.
Agree.
But yeah, I think him going back to NXT is good. If he turns face again, please bring the Demon back. It was really cool, and I also love all the paint and stuff.
You do. Yeah, you like anything.
Makes for great figures too.
Any sort of special characters you like, for sure.
But it just makes for great figures. Like, that's why I always love when they do the Jeff Hardy face paints.
Yes.
Because it just makes for such a good-looking, cool-looking figure, and they're just like, I've noticed in my Jeff Hardy figures, I've got like, so the one Elite and then the two basics that have the same muted face skin, you know?
Right.
It's just like not the screaming expression, but the other one. And with the face paint, it's just amazing how different the same face scan can look.
Yeah.
With different face paint.
Yep.
And I think the same thing is for the Demon Balors, because I have a few with the same face scans, like my Ultimate Edition and Elite 70. They have the same growling expression, but they look like pretty different.
And depending on
just
the face paint.
Yeah, but I just think they make for good figures, and think it was a really good character. And I think they could bring him back in NXT, because the Demon was very near undefeated. Samoa Joe beat it once, and that was it.
Of course, you'd remember
that. So I didn't even watch that. I forget when, but I feel like he was in the cage match, but I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I think they could bring it back if he turns face. I think a lot of people enjoyed it, and yeah, it was really good. So I would really like to see that return, but we'll see.
Hopefully it will then.
Yeah.
I guess we should briefly discuss AEW All Out, just because it would not make sense to talk about it any other business.
Yeah, I think one of the more newsworthy things was we got new tag team champions.
Yes.
Which was FTR.
Yes.
Being Hangman and Page.
Really liked that match.
Loved it. It was really good.
My overall thoughts, I thought it was the weakest pay-per-view. I mean, we talked about this already.
It was a bad start, but the tag match really
the listeners haven't heard
kind of lifted it up a bit.
Weakest pay-per-view in their history, but still not saying it's bad, because there was some stuff that I enjoyed. As I was just going through it again and listing things, I think I liked every title match. The tag team title match was good. The women's title match was good, man.
It was all right, but I need to see more from Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa, I thought that match was good. I thought...
I'm still not quite sold on her, though.
And the heavyweight title match was good as well. It didn't blow me away, but it was a good match for sure. The Hardy match was obviously a disaster. They handled it horribly. It's like the first real problem that people are having with AEW is the way they handled it. A pretty obvious concussion on camera, and somehow decided to I know we talked about it before, and you saw that it was getting me pretty angry, that you let somebody climb something when I don't know how you would doubt that he had a concussion if you watch the way he landed, if you watch the way
I don't think it was a worked concussion at all.
No, and the way he couldn't stand up afterwards, to let him climb something to execute even one more move, which was just a simple push of the other guy, is still insane to me. So I don't know. Hopefully this doesn't happen again, and they sort of revisit their protocols for stuff like this, because that was not something I wanted to watch, and I think it really hampered the pay-per-view because the crowd was brutal for this pay-per-view. Like, because we talk about the AEW crowds on Dynamite being like pretty good, and then this crowd was dead, and maybe that's why, because they basically watched a guy almost die and then get pushed back out there to do one more move. Anyways,
right.
Really disappointed in the Battle Royal. I didn't think anything of consequence happened in that.
Poor Matt Sydal.
Yes, poor Matt. It's Uncle Matt Sydal, right?
No, yeah.
We've met. Here we go. New gimmick on the show that makes you cringe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was obviously unfortunate.
It's even cringier when you say it makes you cringe.
That's good. My goal in life is to make you guys cringe. You know that.
Yeah.
So Matt Sydal shows up and he. Go ahead. You want to describe it?
He went for airborne very clearly,
which is
shooting star press,
and he does it amazing.
Yeah, and then so he his legs flew up, and then he hit his arm off the ropes, and then kind of hit his neck on the ground, but it wasn't that bad. He didn't get a concussion or anything.
Could have been worse.
But I just really felt bad for him because he's really good, and I enjoyed it when he was in Impact doing the third eye gimmick.
I've never seen, to my recollection, him mess it up.
I don't know what happened there.
I was just going to say, in his defense, it was super hot and humid, and it was a battle royal, so lots of sweaty people could have touched those ropes, right? So I imagine it was just an issue of the ropes weren't dry, depending from whatever situation, because he doesn't do that, right? And then
I did really feel bad for him.
Me too. And then they didn't even find another way to let him do it again and hit it just for a little bit of redemption, right? I was surprised that there was no other attempt.
I saw this funny thing on Instagram, though. It was I showed you it. It was they're welcoming a new member of Titus World Slide, Matt Slydell.
That's right. And hopefully, if he has the right outlook on it, right, he can turn that into some attention, right? So, I mean,
But I do feel bad for him.
Any publicity is good publicity, right? So it gets his name out there, even if it's if he has the right attitude about it. So, for me, that was not a grade A level pay-per-view, but it had a few good matches on it. It was far too long as well, I thought.
Yeah.
So that was my thoughts. Anything else to add?
I also feel like it was a little weird that Moxley ended up using the paradigm shift, even though he's a babyface and he wasn't allowed to. It was kind of funny because I guess he wanted to drop MJF on his head, but I mean.
That feels like kind of Austin-ish face, though, right? I feel like Austin would stun people if he was told he couldn't use the stunner. I don't know. I
guess. It was both. I was both okay with it and also
not the best.
Yeah.
It kind of helps MJF, right? That he was right that maybe Mox can't beat him without that move.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know.
It does keep the feud going, which I'm fine with.
And it was a good match.
Yep.
All right, you want to move into your major portion of the show? All right, so we're looking at our first review, which is our weekly AEW Dynamite review. Jackson, that's you. Go ahead, buddy.
So we had a few matches announced. I can't remember what was already announced. I don't know. I'm just trying to talk something. I don't know. Whatever.
What?
I don't know. I was just saying something.
What did the show start with? Don't just go.
I was just rambling.
I know. That's why I'm cutting you off.
All right. So Tony Schiavone opens the show. He's in the parking lot for some reason.
He is.
For something. Yeah. And then MJF and Chris Jericho both approach from either side. Jericho says Mox cheated and MJF was robbed. Says MJF will win the title eventually. MJF says Jericho, saying that means a lot and he's a legend. MJF says Jericho losing to Cassidy multiple times is criminal. And MJF says Jericho will one day win back the title. And then they both walk away. You get a split screen shot. And then they're like, what a loser.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of funny.
I thought it was fun. And I normally love that they start right into a match, right? But I thought this was a really funny little segment. It can even be a one-off. They don't have to cross paths anytime soon, where your two top heels, right, just have a really brief interaction. They're sort of fake nice to each other and then walk away, and you can see they're not a fan of each other.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun.
It was interesting. I'm not sure what the point was, but it was still funny.
It's just your two top heels just briefly interacting for a second. I don't know if there needs to be a point. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. And then we had Lucha Bros versus Jurassic Express. Lucha Bros are accompanied by Eddie Kingston, because that's the thing now.
That's right.
No entrances. I know another one of those cases where the opening match just starts right away.
Right.
Which is fine. I mean, if you
never
you
disappoints us, so go ahead.
If you just want to get into the show, that's fair enough.
I agree.
We had Phoenix versus Jungle Boy starting the match.
Yep.
For both teams. Jungle Boy headlocked like for a bit there. Wheelbarrow arm drag by Jungle Boy, followed by another arm drag. Chops by Phoenix, followed by an arm drag of his own, and then Pentagon tags in. They're calling him Penta L0M now.
And you just refuse, eh?
I don't know. I've been calling him Pentagon for so long. I know they called him that at All In, but which is fine.
I don't know what the reason is for the change, but it doesn't really. I just call him
Penta.
It's
not like it sounds more heel.
No, I don't know what the motivation is, but I'll just call him Penta. It's easy.
Yeah. Leapfrog drop down into drop kick by Lucha Bros. You know, like when they bounce the ropes and do the drop down leapfrog and whatever. Luchasaurus tags in, headbutt to Penta, flatliner by Jungle Boy. It was like he did a wheelbarrow with Luchasaurus and did like a flatliner. It was like a double team move thing. Jungle Boy did kind of a botch. You know, what was it again? I can't remember. It was like some sort of botch though.
I don't remember. I don't know.
What was it?
Here it is. Yes, he slips off of Luchasaurus's back, and he has to like settle for a lame shoulder block that he was clearly going for something bigger, but he didn't jump as far as he should have.
I remember now.
And just hit with a shoulder block. Yeah.
All right, and now we got Penta versus Luchasaurus. Pentagon throws glove at Luchasaurus, to do the Sierra Miedo, and then they have a bit of a chop back and forth. Then the Sierra Miedo taunt by Penta. And then Jungle Boy tags in, hits Penta with the top rope Hurricane Rana. Phoenix tags in. I wrote a duocide dive for some reason. Duocide.
Does that mean it was two of them at the same time?
No.
Duocide?
No. I just misspelled. Suicide dive to Phoenix by Jungle Boy. Penta shoves Jungle Boy into a super kick by Phoenix. Penta tags back in. Big kick to the leg by Penta. Another kick to the leg. Kind of targeting the leg a little here. Phoenix tagging back in. Jungle Boy flips out of the double team. Luchasaurus hot tag. Hits the kick flurry. A pop-up slam to Phoenix, which was cool.
Yes.
Penta saves Phoenix from another slam. And Penta eats a good-looking knee strike from Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus throws Phoenix off of the top rope, followed by a standing moonsault. It's like a choke slam kind of throw thing. And then he had a standing moonsault.
Yeah, that big choke slam was huge, and he almost landed too high. It looked like Phoenix, right? Like it was close to being on his neck almost, but it looked good. And then that dude doing a standing moonsault is crazy.
Yep. And then Phoenix hits a gory bomb while doing a kind of a boom drop, kind of like drop to Jungle Boy.
That's right.
No, to Luchasaurus.
Yes.
He did the gory bomb to Jungle Boy, sorry. But yeah, it was just kind of like for those who don't know what a gory bomb is, he kind of has like his arms and legs trapped around his. And he's got like him hanging on the back, and then he drops him face first.
Right.
And then he hit like the boom drop on Luchasaurus, who is down right in front of him. Pentagon hits a sling blade on Jungle Boy, and then a foot stomp package pile driver by Lucha Bros gets a pretty close fall. And then the shoddy dive by Phoenix. Remember, you saw that?
Yeah, it wasn't his best effort.
Phoenix tags in. Penta accidentally hits a destroyer on Phoenix.
That was a cool little spot.
And Jungle Boy rolls up Phoenix for the win. And then Jurassic Express got the win. Eddie Kingston cuts a promo, tells Lucha Bros to stop fighting, says they couldn't even win the Battle Royal with the 5 guys that they had. Says they should run the place, tells them to shake hands. Penta doesn't. And then the next time they do, and Kingston says he never got eliminated from the Battle Royal.
I'm wondering where that's leading.
I feel like that's accurate.
He said we should check the rules because he was never eliminated from the Rumble.
Yep.
So I wonder where that's going. I like it sounds weird to the reversal finish, because you're like, how could you hit that move accidentally on your partner? But they actually made it look pretty good. I thought it was a creative finish, and what a surprise, a fast, fun tag team match to start the show.
Yep.
I don't know if people are going to get tired of that, but I'm not.
No, not yet.
Because I know some people are getting tired of the multi-man tag matches.
Especially because they pick the good tag teams. Like, they're smart about it.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying all of these opening matches, and this was another one that I liked. And I liked you get a sort of Kingston showing you his in-your-face leadership style, right? Like he gets in guys' faces and he sort of calls them out and he's demanding that they shake hands and all of that sort of thing. So you get a glimpse into how he's running his little group. So I thought it was a good start.
Yeah, it was good match, and then good job by Kingston kind of keeping the squad together.
Right, because it's got to be when and it makes sense because if you're leading a group of heels, they're generally like, how hard would that be, right? To keep a whole bunch of bad guys on the same page sort of thing.
Right, especially if they weren't faction previously.
Yeah, they're just kind of been
like
thrown together teams a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Right. Lance Archer and Jake Roberts promo. Robert says Mox drives cars and Archer trashes cars. Archer says Mox had time to prepare for others, and Archer's sick of Mox being the champ, basically just hyping up their eventual title match.
Yeah, I haven't thought the last couple Jake promos have been that great. The first few he did, I thought he was really good.
Ever since the TNT title loss, they really dulled down Archer. He has not been doing a lot.
And I find when Jake is live doing promos, it's worse. It's better when it's these videotaped vignettes and segments. I didn't think this was the best one. And again, Archer was passable on the mic, but he's not good, right? Like I would prefer he's just a monster that doesn't speak, but that's me.
You're not going to get that.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, we got Matt Hardy coming out to the ring, and Matt says it's great to have live fans and thanks them. Thanks us watchers. Thanks everybody for the support.
I thought he got a huge reaction considering they're at still 10%? Yeah. Like he got a huge pop, I thought.
Thanks everybody for the support after that aforementioned fall. Mm-hmm. He's expected to make a full recovery, apologize for scaring everybody, and how the match turned out, and says he'll go after the title when he's healthy. This was just like a lot of just like, thank you guys, thank you for this, thank you for that, and like it was just like just trying to get cheers. Really, it was just like,
yeah. So you weren't a fan?
I didn't understand the point to this.
So I thought this was the most interesting he's been in a while because I haven't enjoyed his whole I'm not doing any gimmicks.
Yeah,
I thought this was actually him not doing a gimmick and just coming out and trying to talk sincerely. It was a terrible accident he had, but it's made him a huge babyface right now, and I feel like it sets him up for this one last like match, one last run sort of thing for him at coming back as a huge babyface. So I think it might work out for him. As
much as I want them to push future guys, Matt's not going to be around for much longer. So I would honestly love if he got his first world title.
Well, he doesn't even have to be successful.
He got the TNA one.
They can just do the one last run thing, whether he wins or not, right? It just seems like it's sort of changed his direction a bit now. The fans are definitely going to be on his side.
Yes, he got the TNA title one, but I feel like just because most people assume him as a WWE guy, and he just never got that break that Jeff Hardy got. So I would really like to see him at least go for the title, and I would honestly be okay with him winning it.
I don't think that's the right move. Depends on how things are.
If they do it right, I'm going to trust them. If they want to do this, then I'll trust them.
I didn't love him apologizing. I don't think he has anything to apologize for. I would love it if some executive person from the company would come out and apologize, because I'm not sure why Matt Hardy's apologizing. He didn't do anything wrong. Right. Other people even if he said, yes, I want to continue, that's the decision's out of your hand when you fall 15 feet or whatever onto a concrete floor and hit your head. Right. You don't get to make those decisions anymore.
Yeah.
So I didn't love him apologizing, but I really thought he was almost caught off guard by how much the people love him right now. So they're smart enough to turn that into something. So we'll see. I thought it was a pretty strong segment by a veteran who's kind of poised for a babyface return.
Yeah, the way you put it, it was all right. I just felt like it was a lot of cheering and just saying thank you, which I'm never a fan of, because it's just like, I really think
they just wanted to get him out there in front of the fans, like looking healthy and making sense when he talks was probably their motivation.
Yeah, right, just to show us that he's fine.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so that's fair enough. But yeah, it was whatever.
Yep.
It's fine.
What was next?
Then we got Orange Cassidy versus Angelico, whatever.
Angelico, and it annoyed me because I like Angelico. I think he's good. He's shown us nothing in AEW. I'm not going to say he has. But his entrance was completely covered over, right, by the recap of the Mimosa Mayhem match.
Yeah, I noted that.
So that tells you how important Angelico is in the plans.
Jack Evans distracts Cassidy, and then Angelico attacks him right after the gate. Like, Jack Evans really helping Angelico get the early edge here.
And I like that they actually spent some time putting over Angelico's style and where he's been and where he's wrestled, and that yes, he's actually an accomplished wrestler. So I'm hoping this is the start of them. Because again, I'm not mad about it. You can only focus on so many guys at one time. But Angelico's good if they ever have time for him. So I like that they're sort of laying that foundation of yes, he's been around the world. He's actually an accomplished wrestler. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, is that what that is? Okay. Sorry. Then we got some, they're just doing some technical holds. Both were countering each other's holds, just kind of back and forth, back and forth. Angelico blocks Cassidy, putting his hands in his pockets. A tilt-a-whirl DDT. It's reversed by Angelico. Angelico misses a corner move and falls to the outside. Suicide dive by Cassidy. And then he rolls Angelico into the ring to hit a crossbody tilt-a-whirl DDT by Cassidy. And orange punch by Cassidy gets the win. Basically, they call it like the Superman punch, but I think it looked more like a Superman forearm.
Yeah, I guess so. I thought Angelico took that DDT like a champ. He looked good.
Oh yeah, he did like that. Jack Evans argues with the referee, and then Santana Ortiz attack Cassidy. Best friends make the save, and Chuck cuts a promo and challenges Proud and Powerful to a parking lot brawl next week.
And normally I'd complain about best friends, but this was the intense best friends again, right? I'm okay with this. They're not.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I think you're not gonna get that every time though, because
no, I don't think so either. It's just a nice break for me, and maybe I'd get tired of the intense best friends too after a while. But I enjoyed the crowd was chanting Sue at one point, right?
Yeah.
For Trent's mom, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked, why is the crowd so much better for this show than the pay-per-view? Like this crowd, if it had been on the pay-per-view, it would have helped things a bit, I think. And again, I'm guessing that's the Hardy fall taking the steam out of the live crowd, maybe.
Yeah, that's possible.
I thought Angelico looked okay and is cool. He got a couple things in there, but this is the outcome we expected, right?
Right. Angelico is never going to be here to beat Orange Cassidy, no. Especially with the role Cassidy's been on lately.
And I think this is further them establishing Orange Cassidy as a upper tier star for them, right?
Right. Then we had Young Bucks thing. Interviewer attempts to get an interview, but the Bucks say double super kick. And I like this because I didn't like that interviewer. And so,
yeah. Well, I just put this as yes, we're heels, since people on the internet weren't sure. This is like, how can in 4 seconds we confirm?
Well, and on Being the Elite, I know they used to do it a lot. Yeah. So I guess this is back to the roots.
I'm okay with this. The cocky, arrogant, we know we're the best Young Bucks are pretty fun, to be honest.
Right. That's what we're probably going to be getting.
I think so.
Say. Kip Sabian revealing the best man. I noticed they put some lyrics on his theme, and this made me so happy because his theme was just, I loved it so much. It was just the guitar riffs. Yep. It was really good. And
so you like it better with lyrics too?
Yeah, I just listened to it actually like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
When I was at school actually.
Of course.
Yeah.
On your phone when you were supposed to be on it, of course.
Yeah, on the computer, yeah.
Whatever.
And
I'm just kidding.
Anyways, yeah, so I was listening to it. It's actually really good.
Nice.
But yeah, so they just improved his theme. I'm amazed that they did that because I already loved it. So.
Yes, Kip Sabian's biggest fan, I feel like, over here.
Kip tells Tony to leave the ring, and the best man is Puff, who's a wrestler, or maybe.
Nope, he's a Twitch follower. I thought that was
no,
lame.
but I think he's a wrestler or something.
Is he?
I know I've seen him before.
I thought he was just like a representation of a stereotypical Twitch person that they were trying to say.
He's like, I've seen him in PWI before, and I think he is a wrestler.
All right.
Puff comes out because he got confused because Kip was like, "You're the best man," for subscribing, I guess, on Twitch or whatever, or following. I don't know. Following is where you just keep track of them. I think subscribing on there is like you throw a sub token. It's like you pay for each month, so that's like actually financially supporting them, I guess.
Okay.
Anyways, and then the best man's Brian Pillman Jr., and then Kip tells him he said that because it was his birthday, and then says they're not even friends and gets him out of here.
Because punctuation's important.
Yeah.
There's a comma.
And the real best man is, drumroll please, or imaginary drumroll, I guess, Miro Rusev.
Yes. I was very happy
Miro
to see
Day
him.
Chance. Yeah, I was actually like, and then it said Miro on the Tron. It's like, oh, okay.
Because he's been trying to sell that he's like done with wrestling and he's just going to be a pro gamer now or something, right? Which, I mean, I never believed, but it's very nice to see him.
I didn't know so.
I got a Rusev t-shirt somewhere, right?
Yep. And you're welcome. He says he's the best man, and he's the best at everything he does. And he does take a shot at WWE as well.
He does, talking about the glass ceiling and the brass ring.
Right.
Right. This idea that Vince tries to say it's there and anybody can just go and get it. You just got to be good enough and bold enough to go and be a star. And
but then Vince decides who's
right,
good enough.
Like, no, it's not. It's who you decide, right?
You got to be good enough to do it, but I decide who's good enough.
And that's what the glass ceiling means. It looks like you can just keep ascending, but there's this invisible barrier that stops you from getting there, right?
Right.
So that was cool. He was super intense, and you could feel that he's passionate.
He bleached his hair
kind
of like Blade.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting look. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it looks different for sure. Sounds a bit different too. I liked it.
Yep. He's probably not having a fake Bulgarian anymore or whatever.
Right.
Or is that Lana? Because they called him the Bulgarian
The Bulgarian
Beast.
Brute?
No, because that was what they called him as Rusev. It was like the Beast from Bulgaria, I think it was.
In early NXT, he was almost like a bigger Taz
or like
old Taz.
Oh, Tasmanian Devil.
Yes, like that.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was a good segment. New theme, yes.
I'm worried about your boy Kip Sabian because I find this is an odd pairing. Like, no offense to you or Kip Sabian, a lower card guy and a guy that's probably going to be pushed to the top.
Much offense taken.
So either they're hoping to give Sabian or like get him a little more known, or I think more likely is a really quick turn and demolishing of Kip Sabian as a first feud.
No.
I hope not.
That's not nice.
If I know wrestling, that's kind of what this feels like.
Well, then,
no offense.
You can sacrifice. Let me think of someone to sacrifice. Brian Pillman Jr.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yep.
Or Austin Gunn.
Oh,
two of my favorites. Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Or Griff Garrison.
I thought Sabian had some good heel moments in here. Like, I see potential in him.
I laughed.
But I thought the stuff at the beginning, bringing out two people before Rusev, was too much. It bored me a little bit.
I know, it made it a little funny.
But I see moments. He's definitely got something. I don't dislike him.
Yeah, Penelope Ford's not the only star.
Well, she's going to be a bigger star.
No.
But we can
That's
hope.
not nice.
You'll see.
You're not nice.
You'll see. Carry on.
I hope he becomes TNT champion or something. I could see him being like working his way up. I think he'd be a good mid-card champion at the very least.
He could be.
I don't know, who would he beat for the title? I don't know. You need a good face. I just can't think of like a mid-card. Maybe Scorpio Sky would be someone he could beat. If Scorpio Sky beats Brody Lee. Or he could have Sabian go over Matt Cardona because nobody cares about him and he's also an established star.
He is.
It would give him a good win. Anyways, next we have a Hangman Page interview.
Fantasy booking Kip Sabian. That's what we do on the FNS podcast.
I really hope they, before AEW, if they collapse, they get around to making him a figure.
They're going strong, I think. If they've made it through this, right? Like, I'm pretty confident they'll be around for a while.
Yeah, because I've seen a bunch of places closing down.
When the pandemic started, I wasn't sure AEW would be open this long, right? Like, because they're just a fledgling company. They do have deep pockets for an owner, but that doesn't mean they want to operate at a loss for half a year.
That doesn't mean the cons are willing to invest this much, right? They could be like, we're in a pandemic and we're just starting here and it's not really.
We're just going to shelve it all in for, but they didn't, so I think they're okay.
Right. But I do really want a figure of his, so that'd be nice. And the more I think about it, I'm really excited for Hangman's figure. And just, I don't know.
We've already talked about figures twice. We've got a whole figure section coming up.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the Hangman interview we were speaking about. Hangman, so I believe this was with Tony Schiavone. We get a Kenny Omega interview later, which was with JR. So kind of just the opposite there.
Right.
Hangman said he felt like the fans knew he and Kenny would fall apart, just like the atmosphere there. Hangman blames himself for FTR being the number one contenders because he did cost the Bucks. Blames himself for believing FTR and losing the Bucks as his friends. Says he feels like he's a poison to...
Right. He's full of poison.
Yeah, and Hangman says he and Kenny had many problems, but they also had many victories, which is very true. And they need to rebuild. So
yeah, he's implying they're still together.
Right.
Right.
Well, what Kenny says, we'll talk about that later.
I thought Hangman did a good job, but I have a bit of an issue because it seems like a drastic change in his personality, right? Like, he was this confident sort of lone wolf butt kicker, and now all of a sudden they're telling us he's insecure and stuff, but I feel like I haven't been shown it enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of them saying he's always in his we're in his head. He's all, like, I don't really know if I've seen that, but
they're like now they're just making him that insecure boy. It's like,
so it's a departure, and I don't want to make it sound like...
They took away some of his badassery.
Right. Like, characters can evolve and stuff. I'm just not sure I understand this one fully yet. But again, we'll see where they go with it.
Mm-hmm. Next we had Inner Circle's Chris Jericho and Jake Hager taking on Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss in a no DQ tag match.
Right.
No countouts either. But this is not Tornado Tag. It was still tagging it out. But I think we saw a similar thing back in 2014 at Payback, Shield versus Evolution. Yeah.
You say
I
so.
love that match.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've always loved that match. Just because I got a 100 Greatest Matches book.
Right.
And that was one of the ones in there.
Because you were 4 when it happened.
I also
so
loved the
Shield.
Shield. Oh, yeah, I was 4. No, I would have been,
It doesn't have to...
7.
What?
I would have been 7, no?
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of your brother. Forgot which kid you were. You're the big
right,
one.
Yep.
You're right. You're right.
All right, so
Math is hard.
Jericho versus Janela to start the match. Kiss tags in after Janela takes control of the match. Double team stun gun followed by a double drop kick. Kiss takes out Hager on the apron and a heel kick by Kiss. Janela tags in, stereo missile drop kicks to take out the Inner Circle. A suicide dive by Janela. Janela grabs a chair and punishes Jericho with the chair, just really beating on him.
Yes.
Which I do sometimes in the video game, so it is fun. Back suplex onto the chair by Jericho to Janela, so Inner Circle taking control now. Jericho sent face first into the chair, set up in the corner, so never mind. Kiss and Hager both taken, so now we've got these two kind of facing off.
Right.
Kiss does the splits and gets a near fall with the roll up. Trash can is brought in. Hager puts trash can on Kiss and fails a Vader bomb, and this is kind of weird. I was hoping she would just move and leave the trash can there, so he falls completely on the trash can. Because I always find it satisfying when they land on a trash can.
The way they crumple, yeah.
Yeah, and they just it leaves that dent there. It just always looks cool.
Yeah, it's satisfying.
Which is almost then because the toy trash can I have for the wrestling figures can't do that, so it's just a shame.
Yes.
But anyways, Janela sent into the stage lights. Hager puts Janela through a table, and Kiss hits a crossbody on Hager. Kiss takes out Hager and Jericho in the opposite corners. Jericho sprays Kiss with the fire extinguisher, and Hager hits a big Uranagi for the win. Kind of had a weird pin.
Right.
And then Jericho cuts a promo, says the Inner Circle had a bad night at All Out. And then he says he and Hager are gunning for the tag titles and calls Hager a human brick wall.
So we got a new tag team, I guess. They're transitioning Jericho.
But this is kind of, I don't know, doing a disservice to Proud and Powerful.
Yeah, that could be part of the
kinda
increase
like
in tension down the road.
Kind of like when Rollins and Murphy won the tag titles, even though AOP was in their crew.
True.
And
it could be just they have some long-term story plans. Maybe, I don't know.
Or maybe they'll be transitional champions.
What did you think of the match?
I think you said this too, but better than expected.
Yeah, I'm not a Hager fan at all. I'm
not really a
sort of
Janela
indifferent
fan.
on Janela. I think Kiss is interesting and Jericho's Jericho. He's great. But I honestly thought this match was really good, and I actually thought especially the dynamic between Kiss and Hager was super interesting.
Right.
So I was really pleasantly surprised. I didn't think I was going to like it. I thought Sonny Kiss looked awesome, especially in there with Hager. I'm not thrilled with the tag team with Jericho because it means I'm going to get more swagger on TV, I guess, and I'm not I still don't know what they thought they got when they got him or if they have plans for him later, but I'm not enjoying him. But anyways.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see something from him, but I'm still going to maybe give them time to figure out. Again, I'm going to trust AEW because I know they can probably turn it around.
We always give them the benefit of the doubt still.
Because they're not WWE, and they haven't had millions and millions of failures.
Correct.
Then we had MJF backstage, and Nina's still smiling. MJF says Mox cheated by using the paradigm shift and fires everyone, and it's a campaign because the point of it was to get him the title, and that failed.
Right.
Yells at Nina for finally smiling without asking, and yells at Wardlow for screwing it all out. And when Wardlow kind of tries to threaten him because he's a big man, MJF is like, who sends your paychecks?
Right.
Who employs you, right? Not Tony Khan.
It's
MJF.
$1 Million Man Virgil stuff happening here.
Right. Says he's the only one who sees Wardlow's potential, and if Wardlow doesn't shape up, he'll fire him.
Good.
MJF just really staying in his element here.
I liked he compared Mox to a scorpion at one point, saying something about like you can't expect a scorpion not to use its tail, right, to sting you, which I thought was a pretty cool comparison.
Mm-hmm.
I do have bit of an issue with the whole I'm the only one that pays you. So you're implying that AEW doesn't pay him, yet he's an active member of the roster and he's wrestled matches, but they're not paying him.
Right.
So I didn't love that. I think he could have just said, like, he could have implied that what he pays Wardlow is excessive on top of
maybe that's
you know
what
I
he
mean?
was implying. Maybe we're just not seeing. But yeah, I do agree.
It's useful because it's prolonging the breakup of these two, which obviously we see coming, right? But it's going to have
But is Wardlow really going to be a babyface?
Against MJF, yeah. I think so.
I guess, but like.
Well, but that's the thing. They'll build to it, and the fans eventually get tired of watching the way MJF treats him,
like
just
Virgil.
like $1 Million Man with Virgil, and then suddenly Virgil's the biggest baby face going, right?
Look at you making references.
Right, remembering things because it's from long enough ago. Those things are locked in. It's anything past a certain time that I don't know is gone.
Yep. Fair enough.
Yeah. So.
Good segment.
What was next?
The collapse of this campaign made sense, I guess, because it was for him to win the title,
it was not successful.
It was unsuccessful. So why bother? Next we had the John Moxley promo. Mox says he saw Archer win the Battle Royal and says his defenses ain't getting easier. His title defenses, that being. So Mox says to be the champ, you gotta go through hell and come out the other side. Says he's unstoppable and Archer won't be the one to stop him.
Yeah, I thought it was fine, but it's starting to feel like his promos are very, very similar week to week, right?
Yeah, because I think when he started, it was just like this renaissance, and he's like unscripted. And now it's just like you need something. You need to start having a variety in promos, I guess.
Because it sort of look the same, they sound the same, they feel the same. None of them are bad, but it's just like, oh, here's the standard 2-minute Moxley promo this week sort of thing, right?
I'm going to be, you can't take me down and
So
something.
hopefully just some sort of evolution of what he's doing.
I really do like him. Dean Ambrose was always my favorite. So,
he was.
I do want to see him do good, so I just really hope he changes up.
With your Dean Ambrose side plates.
Yeah, still need the title, but...
Yeah.
Yep, and then we had FTR's championship celebration. We mentioned they won the tag team titles. Good for them. They've won tag titles like everywhere now. Because we had NXT and then Raw and SmackDown, and then now we're in AEW, and here we go. I guess so. Tully says Mox is the best world champion and FTR are the best tag team. Tully says how hot it was, but FTR still pulled through and got the win. Cash says how stacked the tag division is. Says they were honored to fight SU. I think I wrote flight by accident.
They're going to fly with them.
Yeah.
Apparently it was over 100 degrees at All Out.
Yeah, to fight. So they're honored to fight SU because they grew up watching them.
That was funny.
Because they're
like
not that old.
It sounded nice, and then all of a sudden it's like you're totally implying, which is true. They're just really old.
They are, but they're not that old.
No, they're not. So it was an exaggeration, but that's what's funny about it. Yeah, it was good.
He says if this was 20 years ago, this would be a dream match, and everybody would be wondering who would have won. So I guess another shot at them there.
Right.
Says there's nothing to say about Private Party. And says Billy Gunn and his crap son ain't gonna get a tag shot either.
Right, like Private Party haven't accomplished anything. We're not even gonna bother wasting time on them.
And the Guns also suck.
Yeah. Yeah, they sure do.
Austin Gunn. I think that in this case, Austin Gunn's case, his dad's really doing him a disservice here. He doesn't need to be here. No, he could be a manager, but even then...
I don't have much use for either of them.
Even if he was a manager, I'd still say...
Did you get what they called Jurassic Attack?
That's a monster truck.
Sorry, I know. Names
Daxon sold Jurassic Express 2. It says a boy and a dinosaur won't ever be on top of the division.
Calls him a cosplay Tarzan and a dumbass dinosaur.
Nice.
Dawson did, whichever one Dawson is, because I can't learn their names.
Dax.
Sure.
Cash is Dash and
I refuse.
Dax is Dawson.
It's too hard. You just have to
Smash
understand
contraption.
my language.
Jurassic Express attack and FTR retreat, but get the cooler dumped on them, which is kind of weird. They're just like standing there.
I agree. I put the huddle waiting for the ice bath was lame because they're all like huddled together outside the ring, just like for no reason really, other than to get hit with ice.
Yeah. And then we had Taz on commentary. And then he recaps what happened to Darby and says not to mess with Team Taz. Darby's music plays and out comes Ricky Starks again.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. He mockingly says he broke his pinky and can't go skateboarding, which is kind of funny.
Right.
It says Darby isn't relentless, he's reckless, which is basically the
fair.
Gist of it. I guess so. It just depends on your point of view, I guess. And they're the heels, so heel logic.
Yep. I like this. He went with the starting out with humor and then turning serious because I said before, I haven't seen much serious Ricky Starks before. I really liked it.
I did like the humor because then he's able to mock Darby, and then he's like serious, like I'm gonna destroy you.
I like this combination, this formula that he's
working on. I really love
to
see them do like a street fight or like a falls count
awesome.
match.
They're both so fast. That match would be probably really good.
Oh yeah, Darby Allin's figure's another one I'm super excited for.
Figure reference.
They have such a good roster.
I know.
And then Series 2 is the Lucha Bros and John Moxley.
Keep going.
I'm getting sidetracked again.
You
are. Nyla Rose versus Tay Conti, so we did say Tay Conti.
Well, they recapped the awful tooth and nail match in between there. Did you just not want to remember that, probably?
No, I just didn't make a note of it, but
and
that
the women's
too.
championship match, too, before they went to the women's match.
And Rose and Guerrero, guess what they're called?
I made a note of this, too.
Vicious Vixens.
My note, Vicious Vixens, ? No, thank you.
Like, who thought this was a good name? Who?
It's so ridiculous that Nyla Rose has like a cute matching, like alliterative name with her manager. I'm not a fan either.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And this, I said this to you when we saw this name, is one time I was browsing tag team announcing names on options in 2K19.
Yeah.
One of them is, I think because this was a team, but Vicious and Delicious.
Who is that?
I don't know, but Delicious? What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Cannibalism? Like,
I guess.
Okay. Nyla Rose shoulder blocks in the corner, kicks by Tay, knee bar by Tay. They did give Tay some good offense, so I'll give them that. That at least she got some good offense.
And they did mention that she signed, right? I think before the match, during some point. They did mention it, I think.
Nyla gets out by gouging the eyes when ref was distracted. Vicky Guerrero hit a confusing cheap shot. It was weird.
That's funny. I have Vicky cheats, but I don't know what she did.
Nice.
You're right.
Sunset flip by Tay fails. Arm bar by Tay. Nyla powers out into a beast bomb. Nyla Rose wins.
Really big beast bomb because Tay Conti's not a big woman and Nyla's super powerful, so that looked pretty good.
Again, this match was fine. Got Nyla Rose over and a Vicious Vixens.
And hey, congratulations on your signing. Now go get squashed by Nyla Rose.
It's like they used her for the take home and they're like, all right, we'll sign you a contract. Go get squashed.
I thought it was just okay.
At least they gave her some decent offense.
And obviously it's the Nyla Shida setup, which I don't know how I feel about.
I don't need Nyla Rose in the title picture again. She's just okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
She's not bad, but again, she's just okay.
Shida can work with anyone.
We had a quick Vicky Guerrero promo, then Hikaru Shida saves Tay from a post-match attack with their... And she's like threatening them to she's like, I'm gonna hit you if you don't leave. And then the Vicious Vixens are like, I'ma head out.
Yep. Just like that.
Yeah, that's what they said. Vicky Guerrero was like, excuse me, I'm head out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a quick recap on the Bucks attack on the interviewer. They've been fined even though they work for the company. Or they help run it or whatever.
Right.
Which is kind of confusing, but I guess they're kind of keeping that out.
If they're not above the law, right? I think it's just like it doesn't matter. You still have to follow the rules, sort of thing.
Yeah. Then we had the Kenny Omega interview that we mentioned. Kenny says he was a champ and now he's not. He says that's just what happens. You win titles, you lose titles. Kenny says that they argued, but they had some real in-ring chemistry, which is really true. Because I've enjoyed so many other matches and they're really good.
They're both so good, right? How could they not be?
I love Hangman's great. Kenny is good too, but I've just always liked Hangman. I remember seeing him at All In having that street fight with Joey Janela, and just like that was like the first time I really saw him because you showed me him in Japan, I think in the G1 when he first competed, and then like that was like my first time really seeing him. I was like, this guy's pretty cool.
And you used to hate because I would talk about Kenny Omega was like the best wrestler in the world, and you were just still a WWE proper fan at that point, right? So you had zero interest in anything I had to say about New Japan.
Yep.
Back in the days when I had time to follow it, those were good times.
But yeah, so and that was just before really Hangman started to become this.
That's right. Before he broke out.
But yeah, so I've just always really liked him. And Kenny's been good too, so it was just a really good pairing, especially because they were both in the Elite.
Right.
Hangman's obviously not anymore. Kenny says he was supposed to be the singles guy, but he lost his way. He had that losing streak going, and he lost to Pac, and then it was just like, but then they got this tag team, and he's like, found his footing again.
Yep.
JR asked the question if they'll reconnect. Kenny says the tag division is deep, and it takes a lot to get to the top. Kenny says he discovered a part of Hangman he didn't like, and he's going back to singles competition, which is good because I don't think we've seen him in really singles competition in a while. Yes, he's had singles matches, but I mean like not as a tag team champion.
It's the circle of tag team life. One tag team breaks apart and another tag team forms in Jericho and Hager. So we have a net of no gain of tag teaming. Right?
Yep.
I thought this was okay. Kenny's delivery is kind of weird at times for me. And I thought it was this whole like, well, tag team wrestling's better, but now it's not. So I'm going back to singles. It's fine.
I feel like this was a real reversal. It was like Hangman was the one who kind of was away from the Elite, and now he's the one who's saying like, yeah, we might get back together. Now Kenny's the one saying that they won't.
And then who knows what's going on with the Bucks, because they're sort of more heely than Omega is at this point, right? So it's kind of interesting though to see where it's going.
Again, I'm gonna trust them on this.
Sure, I say we do it.
John Moxley versus Lance Archer. The title match is set for the anniversary show,
right?
And it's crazy that it's been almost a year for them already.
It has.
But I guess that's coming up. Next week we got Thunder Rosa defending the NWA Women's title against Ivelisse, which is
I'm looking forward
confusing.
to that actually.
I'm not like not looking forward to it, but it just like kind of confused me when I saw it. But I'm willing to watch it. Yeah. And then we got that parking lot brawl next week. Best Friends versus Pat and Powerful, Santana Ortiz. FTR versus Jurassic Express, which is a non-title match next week. But obviously, if Jurassic Express wins, they'll probably get a title match.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think they will. I think it's going to Hager and Jericho are going to face Private Party next week. MJF will also be in action. And then Hangman Adam Page takes on Frankie Kazarian. So Hangman going back to singles competition before Kenny.
You're going to get a buckshot lariat.
Yay!
Right?
I hope he does the dead-eyed pile driver thingy.
You never know.
AEW Dynamite is next week on Thursday. But maybe Wednesday?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
They were a little unclear. And then we have Brody Lee versus Dustin Rhodes.
The main event?
TNT title match, yep. Brody Lee enters and John Silver's just there clapping away.
Yeah, only John Silver I had is there. With
Brody Lee hands the title to Silver. Rhodes is wearing blue paint again, but he's got like hints of red, which I kind of liked.
He looked cool, I thought, his whole outfit.
He really did. During like the championship match intros, Rhodes attacks Lee during his intro as he's like taunting, turns his back on Rhodes, and Rhodes attacks. Rhodes is sent over the barricade. Lee gets sent into a table but via back body drop. It didn't break. It just because the way they did it, I guess it didn't break. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know if it was intended to not break, but
I couldn't tell either if he was like expecting it to, but either way it worked out okay. Still looks like it hurts.
Silver takes a boot from Rhodes after Lee is sent into the steel stairs. Match actually starts now. And we get a strike exchange. Sorry, I'm just adjusting a bit. Chops in the corner by Lee. Rhodes counters and hits chops of his own. Repeated right hands in the corner. The thing where the crowd counts. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4,
Didn't they count
whatever.
to 20 this time?
Yeah, which is wouldn't Lee kind of come to his senses a bit, but whatever. Lee back in control. More chops. Decapitator in the ropes by Lee. Rhodes hits a drop down right, you know the thing he does, the uppercut thingy.
Yes.
Followed by a facebuster, scoop slam by Rhodes, and a mid-rope Hurricane Rana by Rhodes, which is interesting. I mean, good for him. Sunset bomb by Rhodes for a near fall. Crossroads gets another near fall, and then a super kick by Lee. He gets back in control. Powerbomb follows, and Lee gets a near fall, and he kicked out. Champ breaks out. Dustin ducks a corner boot by Lee, and he falls over the ropes. Cannonball off the apron by Rhodes. And then unnatural kick by Rhodes, which used to be called Shattered Dreams, right? Silver jumps in and gets hit with an inverted atomic drop. And Rhodes hits a pile driver on Lee, but Lee gets a rope break. Straps are down for Lee, you know, the singlet, which I was just like as a mid-match thing.
You do like that.
I like in 2K19 because you can do that. Like, I play as Kurt Angle sometimes just to be like, after his signature is the Suplex City, which is just the multiple German suplexes, and I'll go like, straps down, I'll be like, rah! You know, it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just like satisfying. And sorry, I forgot where I am now. Okay. Strike exchange again. Clothesline gets a near fall for Rhodes, which is interesting. Rhodes avoids the black hole slam, and through thrust kicks and discus lariat gets the win for Lee. Brody Lee wins. A Dark Order come out. Stu Grayson is carrying QT Marshall on his shoulder. Lee tells Cabana to leave the ring after what happened at All Out, and a low blow to Dustin by Lee, and then the show ends. This is also a match that was better than expected.
All right, well, I hate this match, if that makes sense.
No.
It's a really good match, a really good match. Like, really enjoyed the match. But why was it competitive? He just killed Cody, who's a main event superstar, and Dustin's a 51-year-old AEW dark wrestler. This should have been a beatdown worse than Cody got, in my opinion. We're building Brody Lee. We're not building Dustin Rhodes, right? So I honestly don't know how I feel about this match, because without any context or anything, it's a really good match. I thought it was cool.
No,
but
that's
I
fair.
Don't understand. He just murdered the better version of this guy last week. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
So overall, the show, what are you saying? I'll let you go first.
Let me see. I'm just gonna look back quick. I don't know. It was a pretty good show. I would say maybe B+ again.
Okay, so
just short of an A.
I thought, I liked the tag opener was fun. The Hardy segment I liked. The Janela Kiss. The Janela Kiss Inner Circle match I liked a lot better than I thought I would. The main event was again
I understand what you're saying.
Really well
worked. A good
worked.
match, but given the previous story or whatever.
And a strong Miro debut, so I gave it a B.
And a fire new Kip Sabian theme.
A B/B+, just because I'm not sure how I feel about the main event, right? So
I'm really tempted to play it right now, but
a good show.
It was a good show, and there's just some good spots here.
Another fine offering from the people at All Elite Wrestling.
Yep, that's a classy way to say it.
Right. So if that wraps that up, we will move into Off the Top of His Head in just a moment. All right, so for Off the Top of His Head this week, I have planned something a little bit different. I'm got a series of questions to ask you, okay?
Interesting.
It's not a list or anything this week.
I actually like this approach,
Trying to take it in some different directions. I don't know. We'll see what you know. I got a bunch of questions. I'm thinking maybe 10 or 12. We'll see where we get. Okay, ready?
All right.
So let's say you get double the points. Not that I'm really keeping score, but let's say you get 2 points if you get it without the multiple choice, and then I'll give you multiple choice if you need it, and that would be for 1. But I don't even know if I'm going to keep track. So let's see. Which superstar's entrance music contains the lyrics, "They broke the mold when they made me"?
Dolph Ziggler.
Wow. What? Why would you know that?
So I'm not even soundtracks in the game.
It's a slideshow I'm looking at, so I can't see the answer, but Ziggler is one of the options. So let's see. And you are correct, of course.
Duh.
Number 2. Which of the following, I know you're not going to need the options for this. Which of the following championships has John Cena never held?
Intercontinental title?
Correct.
Yeah. I don't think he's ever challenged for it. I don't even think he's anywhere near it.
Next, Edge and Christian's 5-second poses were, according to them, for the benefit of those with
flash photography.
Wow. I actually thought I'd have to give you choices. I'm hoping there's something you don't know here. True or false?
Uh-huh.
At 25 years, 1 month, 13 days old, Yokozuna is the youngest world heavyweight champion.
No, false.
False? Who is?
I don't know.
You're right. That distinction belongs to your favorite wrestler of all time.
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I know, because he beat The Rock at SummerSlam 2002.
If you say so.
I do say so.
Wow, if you don't know this one, you're off the pod.
Okay.
Which former member of the Shield is the only one to have held the Intercontinental Championship?
They all have held it.
Really?
Yeah. Monday Night Rollins, Seth Rollins, and then Roman won it from The Miz.
This must be old. I'm going to assume you're more right.
But Dean Ambrose, yeah.
They're saying Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, because he won it first. Because Dean Ambrose won it 3 times, and then Rollins won it twice.
So
and
you know
Roman
more
won
than
it
this
once.
trivia does?
Yeah.
It must be old, I guess. Sorry, I did not research it very well.
No, that's fair.
Question 6. Ooh, I feel like you might not know this.
Okay.
2008, which superstar was the first to hold the Divas Championship? Do you want the options?
Michelle McCool?
Oh my goodness. Yes. And you know what's brutal? You can't see because we're facing each other. You can't see my screen, but there's an image of someone holding up the Divas belt. My least favorite of all.
All right. To look at it.
Number 7. Which superstar did Shawn Michaels not partner with to capture the WWE World Tag Team Championships? You want the options? You might need them for this one.
Yeah, because...
Okay, so which one not the WWE World Tag? Diesel, John Cena, Marty Jannetty, Triple H.
Marty Jannetty.
Yeah, it's almost a trick question, but I think you're right.
Because they unofficially won him at like a house show, right?
Good job.
Yeah. I know he won him with John Cena because then they faced off at WrestleMania 23.
And then they show an old classic picture of the Rockers. Number 8, WrestleMania 20. Goldberg defeated Brock Lesnar with this superstar acting as special guest.
Stone Cold.
Wow, correct?
That's not even hard.
I guess. 9. Which superstar said the following? I'm not the biggest, I'm not the strongest, but I am damn sure the toughest. Options?
Yes, please.
Options. A, Daniel Bryan. B, Dolph Ziggler. C, Jamie Noble. D, Rey Mysterio.
Ooh.
I actually knew this one I'm pretty sure, without the option.
Dan Bryan?
Correct. I'm thanked.
Oh, really?
Sorry.
I don't know.
I seem to... Yep, it is.
Okay.
10, true or false? Chris
Okay.
Jericho holds the record for the longest intercontinental title reign at 454 days.
Is this combined?
I don't think so. I think it's straight.
Then that would be Honky Tonk Man, so false.
False. That record belongs to the Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah. Jericho has the most reigns, though.
Yeah.
He has 9.
Good job.
Yeah.
Where'd question 10 go? Well, that was question 10. Question 11. Sorry, there's some sort of glitch there.
There's another one?
The longest women's championship reign lasted an astounding 10,170 days.
Moolah.
Correct.
It was like 28 years, right?
Something like that. We'll do one more. Number 12. I think we've proven our point
here. How many
here.
is there?
60.
Can we do 15?
Okay. Which of the following superstars is not billed as being from parts unknown? That's a good question.
Ooh, okay.
Options are, because I think you need them for this one.
Yeah.
So not from parts unknown.
Got it.
Boogeyman, Berserker, Giant Gonzalez, Kane.
Boogeyman?
Correct.
I feel like he was
Kind
from
of
the
a guess.
bottomless pit or whatever,
I'm
right?
sure you're right.
Because that was his finisher name.
Nice. 13.
I like Boogeyman.
Too easy.
I'm
Of the
Boogeyman.
following superstars, who is not a former NXT champion?
Okay.
Big E, Bo Dallas, Neville, Tyler Breeze.
Tyler Breeze.
Right. I knew that one.
He didn't win any titles just until recently in NXT.
True or false? Santino Marella debuted in Milan, Italy, where he defeated Umaga to win the Intercontinental Championship.
It's true.
I know. I actually knew that one too.
Bobby Lashley helped him.
And that's weird because that's a thing that stood out, right? This debut, I'd never heard of this guy in my life, and he debuted to win.
Was he actually he wasn't, right? Like, he was probably already a wrestler, and they just...
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He's actually, has a history in legit martial arts, I think, and things. Grappling,
Right, which is hence Battle Arts Academy.
Battle Arts, yes. Last one. What was the result of the first ever WrestleMania match? Who was in it and who won? Do you know, without options? First ever match. WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'd like options for that.
Okay. Andre the Giant defeats Big John Studd. King Kong Bundy defeats Special Delivery Jones. Junkyard Dog defeats Greg Valentine. Or Tito Santana defeats the Executioner. I don't know this one.
Tito Santana thingy.
It is correct. Why did you know that? Did it just spark your memory?
I just guessed.
Oh, nice. So, what?
Oh, wait. Look.
Oh, it's right on.
I didn't even look, but look.
You're right, because behind you wouldn't have seen it. We have these retro wrestling posters all
yeah,
over
we got one of WrestleMania ones.
our makeshift low-tech studio, and it's actually the card from the first WrestleMania.
Is it in order? Because look, that's
yeah, it is.
First, so I didn't even look at that. I swear, but because it's behind
King Kong Bundy and SD Jones was the second match.
So almost. And then what was the other one options?
Hold on, I don't know if they're from that. Are they Andre the Giant, Big John Studd?
Yeah, the Body Slam Challenge, and then we got
JYD and Greg Valentine.
Intercontinental title. Yeah.
So they're all matches from that show.
Yeah.
Fantastic job as always.
I knew the Body Slam Challenge was from that show because it was in the 30 Years of WrestleMania that I played on 2K14.
That was almost too easy, but I'll see what
some of them were interesting.
Had to get creative.
The first one was not hard. The Dolph Ziggler theme.
No.
Because I've heard that a million times. Just simply from games and the soundtracks.
That's true. I didn't think of all the games you're playing that you hear their anthem or their themes all the time. All right.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Transitioning into our NXT review.
I definitely like to do the questions again, maybe if because you said there's a bunch. So I don't know if you want to, but we could do them again.
Yeah, I can find some. I'll switch it up. I like to surprise you. I don't like to have you having any knowledge of what it's going to be before we roll in. So NXT review for this week. That's my turn to yap for a while here.
Right, and so we had a few things announced before into the show, right?
Which were?
Theory and Reed.
Oh, yeah.
Battle of the Badasses. Cage match.
Right.
Ripley versus Mercedes Martinez. And the NXT Championship match. The vacant NXT Championship. Balor versus Cole.
Yes. Which I was assuming was the main event. I assumed wrong.
Nope,
right?
that was the opener. But to be fair, we've seen this before. When Matt Riddle was challenging Adam Cole, they opened the show. And I don't know if you remember, but a little after I started watching wrestling, No Mercy 2016, we had Ambrose versus Styles versus Cena.
Of course.
And they opened the show, even though they're supposed to be the main event. And now I just found out, like, sometime this year that it was due to something being on TV during the end of the show. Right, so they wanted the main event first.
Makes sense.
So that's actually interesting.
Right, so we did get recaps of all the feuds and things leading into tonight's match to start. And I had notes that I'm confused because what's the title match doing first? But in fact it is. So Balor makes his entrance followed by Cole, and it's the NXT Championship first as the show opener.
Yep.
So we start out with mat work with Balor largely in control, reversals ending up in a side headlock by Balor, some rope running and a collision, and now a chin lock by Balor. Reversal into a hammerlock by Cole, eventually another headlock by Balor.
You know what I have noted is lots of headlocks and rest holds, nothing major yet.
Right.
And something Vic Joseph noted that I didn't notice at first, but Cole was wearing the Undisputed Gold t-shirt, which is kind of a callback to, like, when they had all the gold, and, like, just a kind of a statement to Balor, which I thought was
a
cool.
foreshadow, I was guessing he was hoping.
Yeah.
Another hammerlock by Cole, as you pointed out, into a pin attempt for 2, and the announcers are telling us it's sort of a stalemate early on, even though I felt that Balor was in control for a lot more of the grappling portion. But anyways, there was no real pronounced advantage, I guess. Another hammerlock by Cole.
Wow, shocker.
Right, and I even have listened to the diversity of these moves I'm calling, right, which was surprising for me. Reversals and another armbar by Balor. Some more counters and a head scissors by Balor. Wrist work while Cole is in the head scissors, which I thought was a nice touch. Cole kicks his way out and starts striking Balor. We get some more rope running, and then Ushigoroshi for 2.
I like that name. It's just fun to say.
And I made a note of, hey, a move, right? Other than just a hold.
And one of his signature moves, too.
Right away. That was, interesting. We're back from commercial now.
A bit of an interesting pace for this match, eh?
Yes. Back from commercial. Balor's in control and gets a near fall. Another chin lock by Balor. Balor body slam and running elbow drop for 2. Corner attack by Balor with stomps and kicks. Basement drop kick by Balor for 2. I made a note that Cole has done almost nothing at this point of the match. Corner spears to Cole, Irish whips to corners, running elbows to follow 3 times from Balor. Another striking exchange in the center of the ring where Cole gains control with a pump kick. Head kick and a backstabber by Cole for 2 is a nice little combo. A bunch of counters ends in a sling blade by Balor, but then immediately almost a shining wizard by Cole, which always looks good. Balor regains control with stomps, and the action's now
What I noted with the shining wizard was, like, Balor was still standing when he did this, and I would say I did call it last shot, but it was very also not the last shot. It was like,
what are you saying?
It was technically the same move, but didn't look like it at all. Because one, he hit it from the front, which he doesn't do anymore,
right? And
Balor was still standing, and he didn't remove the knee pad yet, which happens sometimes. But I'm just saying, like,
all true.
It looked very different.
Yep.
So
we're stomps outside to Cole now. Balor runs into a super kick. Back from another commercial with Balor climbing to miss a coup de grace. Kick to Balor's knee and a figure 4 by Cole. Balor gets to the ropes and they're both sort of take a rest for a second. Sling blade by Balor. Scorpion death drop. Shotgun drop kick. And then Balor up top. This all happened relatively quickly. Coup de grace for the near fall. And I was actually wondering, is that really it? Because at that point, it was basically domination by Balor, right? And he hit his finisher, but it was a near fall.
They said nobody's kicked out of the coup de grace. I don't think that's accurate, but...
Fact check that. Another figure 4 by Cole. Inside cradle by Balor for 2. Super kick from Cole and the last shot. And it is a near fall, not a 3 count. Cole is shocked. I thought his facial expressions were really good at that point.
He's always good at that.
Yeah, he is. Panama Sunrise countered, but Balor's knee gives out from the earlier figure 4s and drop kick to the knee. We get an inverted 1916 and Balor's back up to the top ropes. Cole follows him up and ends up with taking a super 1916 to Cole for the win.
Yeah, this super 1916 looked like a DDT.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was a generous to call it a 1916.
It's actually been my figures last night, and I did a match with Finn Balor and Ryback. I did a super 1916. It was an actual 1916. So.
Yes, the details are important to this young man.
It was a DDT.
I understand. Balor gets the belt, poses with the finger guns, and a bunch of smoke. I have.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the match. It started slowly, right? And it built. But I would have preferred in that slow portion, like, these guys know more holds than a wrist lock and an armbar and a chin. You know what I mean? Like, do all those reversals and grappling to no advantage. But I don't know, mix it up a little bit.
Right.
The pace built nicely, though. I didn't think there was any like humongous spots where I yelled anything out, but it was solid action, right, from two guys that
I was
really
disappointed
wrestle.
that Cole didn't win, but I didn't really think he would win.
We both picked Balor right from the beginning of this.
Yeah.
Remember, our theory was he was the one without the most stuff going on, that they could easily just drop everything and put the belt on him.
Yeah.
Seemed like a good theory.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good match. Wasn't amazing, and again, the beginning, I don't mind ring work at the beginning.
Again, I would say if this was TakeOver, this would have been much better.
Could have been.
Just, I think there's a little too much just ring work at the beginning. I mean, you always have that at the beginning of your match, but it's sometimes you overdo it.
And it was the same move, back to the same move, back to the same move. It was like 4 remove rotation. These guys are better than that.
Right? It was just like a lot of holds and a lot of repetitive holds as well.
I thought the aftermath was a little bit underwhelming. Like, this is the coronation of your new champion. He just sort of backed out the ramp and pointed his fingers, and it was over.
Yep.
But a good match overall, just not as amazing as these guys are capable of, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
Next, we get Ripley telling us that Martinez is going to try and make a name at her expense, and tonight in the cage, she'll show her why she's the Nightmare. And it was fine, usual stuff from her. Just a quick little promo
Kind of like
before a
Moxley,
match.
where like this was like her run-of-the-mill promo.
Right, exactly. I feel that's a very fair comparison. It's just this is what she does. She's doing it again this week. Balor's being congratulated backstage after the commercial. Finn says that this is the reason he came back to NXT. We then get Robert Stone talking to Mackenzie. He's about to try and smash Shotzi's tank with a bat, but she interrupts and comes after Stone. So while she's going after Stone, Aaliyah attacks Shotzi from behind, and in the melee they crash somehow through into Io's photo shoot. So now this has upset Io, and it ends up in the ring with Stone and Aaliyah being beaten on by the faces. Shotzi and Io end up face to face, and Io says, "Don't make me hurt you." I said I did not enjoy this. This is cheesy, and Io Shirai is above this nonsense. And why is she involved in the orbit of Shotzi Blackheart?
And also, I hate Shotzi Blackheart.
Okay, we don't have to. Hate is a very strong word.
I dislike her so much.
Not a fan, and I don't need her anywhere near Io Shirai at this point.
That's a fair
That's
point.
what I'm saying.
Yes, and I don't like her.
Candice is home talking to Johnny about saving her friendship.
I wrote Candice LeRae and Tegan Nox dinner thing.
That very, very detailed. They're home talking to Johnny about saving her friendship with Tegan when the bell rings, and it's Tegan. Johnny is fake nice to her at the door, which is kind of funny.
Too.
And they all sit at the dining room table to talk. And then that sort of ends the first chunk of that.
I was almost confused how they broke it up like this, and it was like I almost would rather them just do it, but I also feel like it kind of benefited from that because then they could just say what needed to be said, I guess.
I don't know why, and I can't quantify this, but it felt like an Impact technique to me somehow.
Oof.
That they stopped right in the middle. I don't know. I'm not criticizing too much, but so we get another Thatch's can video, and this is a video study of Damian Priest analyzing his offensive highlights and weaknesses while discussing sort of his party attitude. And that this idea, he said something about life grinds you down until you're dead, like being in a match with Thatcher.
Life is not a party.
And I like this because remember we said that we needed his segments to sort of change and evolve, and they have. It's not just him grappling a guy and hurting a guy, right? This was now a film study of a guy and his weaknesses. So I like this.
Which I liked. I just like he was analyzing parts of Priest's moveset, like the dive, the well, what else was I can't remember. But
and
he was just like,
it makes sense because Thatcher's like the guy who never stops thinking about wrestling, right? Like he's constantly he's just a wrestling machine. Like
he's gonna get to the top by wrestling.
Yes.
Like
so I thought it was good. It's a progression from his usual little videos he's been doing lately. Liked it. Velveteen Dream versus The Adonis.
Ashante The Adonis.
Sure.
I noticed just when I was checking my SmackDown clips, he was also on 205 Live.
Oh yeah, he is a small
Brian
guy.
Kendrick.
He got a lot of offense right off the bat. I'm still not sure how I feel about Dream on TV. I feel like maybe it's not necessary until everything's cleared up. But anyways, we'll sort of focus on the wrestling side of it. Dream taunts Adonis, and Adonis sort of uses this to catch fire and dominate Dream until he kicks the ref. Dream hits his Dream Valley driver sort of out of nowhere for the win. And then Kushida shows up and attacks Dream and repeatedly drags him shoulder first into the ring post. Then an arm breaker while Dream is hanging from the ropes. I guess this is to showcase a new aggressive Kushida to us, but I frankly don't really care
I don't care about Kushida.
I don't care about this pairing together. Right?
Fair.
Like I don't know. It's not interesting to me.
I've
they
never
might have
been
a
too
good
interested in Kushida.
It could have a good match. I felt like this was just an enhancement match to further a developing feud, I guess, that they want to get going, and that at least Adonis got a little bit of offense in the beginning.
Not thrilling developing feud, but developing feud nonetheless.
Nonetheless, maybe the payoff of the match might be really good. So far, I'm not that interested, but I could be, I guess. We get of course, a Breezango segment now. They chat. We see highlights of the match, and they talk about taking 5 years to get here. Imperium makes an appearance. Are you kidding me? And I honestly figured they're done. They're going back to NXT UK because that is their turn. Right? They're going to start. So, nope. Imperium think Breezango are a joke, and this feud is continuing.
I think the fact that this feud is continuing, that's a joke.
But then my question is, what other options are there? Other than Legado del Fantasma, who is there? I think literally no tag team.
So maybe this is for the best.
Right?
But also bad.
Tag title rematch next week, and I just said no out loud while watching. Okay, so I guess you know how I feel. Back to Gargano and Laray's dining room.
Yeah, I just wrote dinner continues. And then when it continues later, I wrote dinner continues.
You're just leaving it to me. That's what you're supposed to do, though.
Yeah.
Johnny says it's uncomfortable, and he takes his meal upstairs. Yeah. Candice wants Tegan to admit her mistakes, and Tegan says that Candice is the one that betrayed her, so she should admit to it first. They recap their issues, and Candice decides that Tegan does not understand the Gargano way and wonders if Tegan is jealous of her success or something.
Even though her name is Candice LeRae.
Tegan says she doesn't like the Gargano way and that Candice basically has been changed by Gargano. Candice argues that she's always been this way and it's just sort of been unleashed by embracing the Gargano way, so she's kind of like same idea as what Eric Young, that this is her real persona. Everything else has not been.
Except Eric Young does it better.
She's like Tegan's big sister and wouldn't do her wrong. And we're left sort of with Tegan looking like she's considering this as the segment ends. But I mean,
which is not a bad idea.
It's pretty easy to see where it's going, I think, though. Yeah. Like it clearly looked like it was going to end today. And I thought anyways. I thought it was mostly okay. Their delivery at times was a bit awkward, especially Tegan. But she's learning, right?
I would have liked this better as a promo battle, but
she hasn't had a ton of time in segments and on the mic and stuff. These are opportunities she needs to improve, so I'm fine with it.
Yep. This was fine.
Yeah.
It had to be said.
That's
we had to say it at some point.
We did. We're getting it's less and less, but I do.
But it's hard to avoid it completely.
Because we're trying to be positive, right? So fine is
But sometimes when they just don't get it right, and then it's just like.
It's not fine.
It's just like, or like. You don't want to say it, but then it's just like sometimes it's like not terrible, but it's not good.
It's the right thing to say, so it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh my god.
Next we have Bronson Reed versus Austin Theory.
Thick boy versus not thick boy.
Another guy that I'm not sure I'd need to see on the roster, being Theory, but anyways.
What even did Theory do? I don't know. If
I'm not entirely sure either, but
exactly.
He's back. So my first thought was that Reed better win this convincingly. Theory, actually, I thought did seem pretty hateable coming out during his entrance, right? Like, there's just something about him, so maybe there's some heel potential there.
His theme is still bad and generic, by the way.
Somehow Theory thinks they're friends or something. We get a side headlock by Reed that he won't release near the beginning. Theory breaks it by stomping on Reed's foot. And then he gets run over by Reed. Theory misses a kick, and Reed hits a bottom rope springboard elbow. Hip toss over the ropes into the ring by Reed, and another chin lock. Lots of chin locks on NXT. Back elbow by Reed. Sunset flip attempt. Sunset flipped attempt by Theory, but Reed sits on him, just sort of drops down and sit.
I noticed there's a lot of Theory trying to just like lift him up and get some moves in, and which I like. Theory was just really trying in this match.
Well, and he prides himself on being this super jacked, strong dude, right?
Who can go all day.
Right. Theory tries to escape to the outside, but Reed hits him with a shoulder tackle from the apron. Back from the commercial with Theory chin lock, but Reed powers up and falls back to break the hold. Strikes by Reed an atomic drop and an elbow to take down Theory. Avalanche splash, DVD by Reed for a near fall. Back suplex by Theory, who holds his lower back, sort of like it hurt him, tweaked him to sort of back suplex this large boy. Forearm and rolling blockbuster by Theory for 2. Theory can't get Reed in a fireman's carry and takes a senton. Then this big splash from the top.
What did the ATL stand for again?
For Reed for the win.
Theory's finisher, Austin Theory, something. I feel like
launch, Austin Theory launch. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay, I knew we'd get it.
I thought this was a decent match. Theory looked okay, and it was the right result. Like we needed a somewhat competitive, but Reed wins. Right, is what I thought would happen, and it did. So it was okay.
It was fine.
Right. Cole is interviewed backstage and is disappointed, but he actually says the better man won. So he's being kind of super face here.
Don't be satisfied, Cole. You got to push for the title.
It was weird. It's a big departure for super cocky, arrogant Adam Cole to be like, nope, he's the better man. I respect him.
Be Adam Cole. Don't be good guy Finn Balor.
So he respects Balor, but if he gets another chance, the result will be different. So yeah, it's just, I guess they're really sort of building him as a face because they don't really have many at the top level right now.
Johnny Gargano.
I know. Mercedes Martinez tells us, I like this, that when lions want to be king, they don't attack the weak. They go for the strongest, and that's what she's doing.
If she wanted to attack the weak, she would just beat up Aaliyah.
The words were better than her delivery, I thought, but it was cool. Yeah, so we keep saying Aaliyah's improving, all right?
She is, but
she's still bad. So now we have Roderick Strong versus Killian Dane.
I just want to say, the fact that they're turning Cole face... sorry, I just want to talk about this for a second. It just shows how messed up their roster is right now. Cole is so good. He shouldn't be a face. He's great as his cocky heel. The fact that they're kind of resorting to this shows me that they're not really, the depth of their roster is not great right now.
The thing is, he can be a good baby face too, and that's a lot harder.
No, but I like him as the heel that like people that like he's likable. You know.
I know.
Where, like, I just think he's better as his cocky heel, and Johnny Gargano is better as the baby face.
You know me. I almost think everybody's better as a heel. But
right.
He has the ability to be a face, and they need a face, and it's harder.
They need Gargano to be a face.
It's harder to be a face than a heel. I know, but they don't want to do that.
I just don't think Cole should be a baby face, and I think the way some of the roster is just not in the right position right now. I just think they need to... I think Balor's doing all right. Cole needs to be a cocky heel again, and Gargano needs to be a face.
I prefer Balor face. Cole heel for sure.
Balor was a good face until they made him like just smile and
that was awful. But I don't find him a very effective heel, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, like I was saying, he only had the heel promos, right? Yeah, so but yeah, he should be a babyface too, actually. Him and Gargano, and then Ciampa and Cole should both be heels. Ciampa was a fantastic heel.
He was. So, he always is.
And he's kind of coming back to that almost. So
yes.
Anyways, let's continue on.
Bobby Fish is with Strong, and I just think that the Undisputed Era seem a bit lost here. I'm not quite sure where they're fitting in on the show.
It makes me sad.
They're trying to find their position. Roddy uses his speed to frustrate Dane to start. Dane follows Strong outside, and a distraction by Fish gets Strong the advantage. Dane eventually overpowers Strong and takes control. We get a kick to Dane's head, Uranagi by Dane, and more interference by Bobby Fish. Clotheslines and elbows from Dane. Running cross body for 2 by Dane. We get a wasteland. They even make a note of it. Wade Barrett's old finisher by Dane. Another interference by Bobby Fish. Jumping knee by Strong, and it's over. They attack Dane.
Yeah, winning with a knee?
That's
really?
Interesting. I don't mind if they sometimes win with non-finishers.
But like that, really? Like I think Roddy, if he did like an Olympic slam, because like not a lot of people are gonna be slamming Dane like that.
It doesn't make Dane look the strongest for sure.
Right. But yeah, I think if he had won with like even just the Olympic slam or like some sort of actual move instead of a knee strike, that would be fine. Yeah, and I don't. It's not that I'm mad that he didn't use his finisher. It's just that he had to use like a move that it's so basic.
Right.
And like if a knee is a finisher, like for Daniel Bryan, it's like a running and it's like it's different. Or like a V trigger is a.
Well, we see a ton of knees like that don't take people out, right? And it's not like Dane had taken a ton of damage already.
And the V trigger looks better than that and doesn't finish people off.
It's true.
So, I don't know. I'm just like, the finish was not great. I think they could have chosen a better move if they didn't want to do his finisher. He could have done the sick kick.
It's true. So, they attack Dane after the match, and then Drake shows up with the cheesy standard WWE metal bar.
They couldn't even really identify it for a sec.
Until I had a bat written down until they called it a bar. And
yeah, Wade Barrett was like, a steel bar, and I'm just like, sure.
Okay. Until Fish takes him out, Drake beat down until Dane grabs the bar and chases Undisputed Era away.
Why don't you try to hit them?
So then Dane stares down Drake but drops the bar and leaves. Then when Drake tries to be nice, Dane drops him with a punch and leaves. I thought this whole thing was not great.
I mean, like, sure, but what was the point?
Yes. So then we go back to Keegan and Candice. Tegan and Candice share a toast.
Keegan and Candice.
And Tegan wonders why Candice gets Io Shirai first because Candice implies that she's going to get a shot at her. Candice says that they're doing the Gargano way, and Tegan already had her chance. So the Gargano way, I guess, indicates that Candice gets to go first somehow. Tegan points out that Candice has lost to Io too, and things surprisingly break down.
Oh, yeah. Takeover Toronto. We were there.
They throw food and water. Probably match of the night for me. Yep. They throw food and water, break a TV.
I like the Three Stages of Hell match, though.
And so much for their reunion.
Fair enough.
It was okay, but who didn't see this coming? I even expected actually more brawling and damage throughout the house. I thought that was what they were going.
And also, who cares?
So I was a little disappointed because I thought, they're going to have some sort of impromptu brawl in the Gargano household. And it was really throw food, throw water, crack TV. That's it.
Nate pointed out that, so there was a slight dent in the TV. And then after it was, super cracked. I mean, you said that could happen. Yeah. But,
it could.
I think it was less so the static or whatever on the TV after it, but just how the crack got bigger.
Yeah.
I think if the crack was still small, but it had all that whatever on the screen, then that would make sense. But
fair enough.
Whatever. I think the TV was a little confusing, but nothing major there. So this was okay.
Right, and I guess because it was 3 separate segments, so I was hoping it would have been better. It took up a fair amount of time.
Yeah.
Anyways, we get Rhea Ripley versus Mercedes Martinez in the
what
battle.
What are you gonna say there?
I don't know. Of badasses coming up.
Battle of badasses.
I'm groaning about the name of the match.
It's
not the match
you know what it honestly reminded me of? Greatest match ever.
It's like Vicious Vixens and the Battle of the Badasses.
And
it's
greatest match ever.
Yes. Then we get an interview with Damian Priest backstage, and he's responding to Thatcher by calling him ugly. Tells Thatcher he's basically like, I'll tell Thatcher my game plan. I'm gonna kick him and punch him and rearrange his face, and there's no way he's losing the belt. And he invites Sarah to the party after he wins, retains.
This sets up the Priest versus Thatcher title match is set for next week,
which
as well as the tag title rematch.
I'm interested in that.
The tag match?
No. I'm still talking about the Priest
that was
Thatcher.
Good timing.
Okay, so we get a recap of Ripley and Martinez feud. And then we're leading to the steel cage match, and we do get the match Rhea Ripley versus.
Martinez grabs a bunch of weapons in her.
She does,
which I like because I honestly, if I do a cage match, I
makes sense.
Like to do that.
Barrett does a nice job of hyping the steel cage. I thought. I love Martinez's entrance. I think her theme and overall presentation are really strong.
I always notice when they do the cage in Full Sail, it's like there's no there's the top is just kind of the smooth instead of the kind of scaffolding kind
you really see it at the end because they show
or whatever they usually have and then there's no giant cables from the rafters because obviously they're just in little Full Sail.
That's right.
And I like that they also mentioned the last cage match that was here at least the women's one was that Baszler Shirai match with the cool finish.
Yes.
When she turned heel, actually.
That's right. That was a good time.
Yeah.
So she does bring, as Jack said, chairs and tables from under the ring and puts them in the ring.
And she brought a kendo stick in her entrance.
She did. She goes to get a table and Ripley shows up and attacks. Ripley slams the cage door on Martinez and rolls her into the ring. Goes to grab a table and puts it in the ring. Martinez attacks as Ripley enters, strikes and thrown into the cage wall. Martinez then misses with a chair, takes a boot to the gut and a clothesline and a cage toss. Big boot to Martinez's head. Forearms by Ripley and kicks while Martinez is down. Riptide reversed into a fisherman buster, which looked cool. They called it a fisherman suplex. I disagree.
That's more, I think, what the perfect plex is, right?
Yes. This is more of a drop straight down, right?
Yeah.
And I think it always looks
awesome.
Like a
brain buster,
but with the
fisherman brain
grip.
buster.
Yeah, exactly what it is. Martinez gets a chair swing and kicked, but then hits a running power slam to Ripley on a chair, which I thought was cool. Mm-hmm. We're back from the commercial and Martinez Germans Ripley off the top rope, and then she's sort of hanging upside down.
Drew McIntyre's done that before. He'll get knocked down, and then someone's attempting a superplex, and he'll German suplex one. It's sort of a pseudo Tower of Doom.
And then hangs there and looks at sort of the effects and catches his breath.
Or what he does is he'll hang there for a second and he flips.
And he flips over all graceful, yes, for a giant.
She did hang there a little longer, so that's fine. But
she did.
But I'm just saying, there's a similar thing there, and it is cool, so I did like it.
So Martinez is on top, and Ripley throws a chair at her face. She does get a hand up to block it, thankfully. Drop kick by Ripley while Martinez is up on the top, which looked good. And her head, which I thought I've never seen before, gets wedged between the two walls of the cage.
I know. I thought that was really cool and just unique.
But then they didn't really build. I thought they were going to get some sort of spot out of it, right? But they didn't. All of a sudden, her head was out of it again.
It was still innovative.
Yep, and it led to a nice superplex by Ripley for 2. And I thought there was lots of natural sounding crowd noise here. I even pointed out to you, listen to the crowd. It sounds really good here.
For once.
For once. Forearms in the center of the ring again, and a spine buster to Ripley. A missed head kick by Martinez, and a drop forward from an electric chair position, if you know what I mean. Up an electric chair, but instead of falling backward, they sort of drop you forward on your face.
Right.
Okay. Inverted cloverleaf to Martinez. I forget what Ripley has a name for it, but I forget what it is. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Until she grabs a kendo stick and strikes Ripley's legs. Ripley takes the kendo stick, hits Martinez, and there's Stone is climbing the cage at this point. Ripley climbs to get Stone, but gets attacked by Martinez with the kendo stick as she's trying to. Top rope neck breaker to Ripley, which I thought was nice. Stone is now hurt and dangling off the top of his cage, sort of like at his waist, half his legs hanging over one side and the top half of his body on the other side. Mm-hmm. We get a kick out at 2 by Ripley. Martinez sets up a table in the corner and places Ripley on the top turnbuckle. She tries for the Fisherman Buster through the table, but they battle up top, and then she ends up taking sort of a riptide through the table for the win. The end result of her going through the table looked good,
really good,
but the first half of the riptide wasn't right, I don't think. It's hard to do when you're on the top of the ropes, I would say.
But the table break was really satisfying.
Yeah, it looked good.
Most of the time they are.
Ripley celebrates on the top turnbuckle with her head above the cage, which I thought was a cool camera angle, again showing you that top of the cage, and she looked good. Thoughts on the match, buddy?
She had a better celebration than Finn Balor got for
I thought so too.
What did you think? Yeah, it was fine. I didn't take a lot of notes for it just because I didn't have to, but yeah, it was good. I did like the ending. I actually saw it already, so I kind of knew who won, but it was still a good match. I liked the head in the there because they didn't do a lot with it, but again, I haven't seen it before, so it was just something new.
Yep, I really liked this match. I thought it was really fun to watch. We're reminded I needed that reminder of how good Ripley is because she is really good, but she hasn't been doing much lately, right? So this was like, oh yeah, she's awesome.
But they've also taken away, I was saying some of her badassery. She changed her hair, which doesn't look good.
You've never mentioned that. Oh wait, yes you have. All the time.
And just if you compare from when she beat Shayna Baszler and she was on fire, she was like the hottest thing in NXT.
Yes.
And now she's just here.
At that time, I thought that was like she was a rocket to the top, and they were gonna never.
They had her compete at WrestleMania, which was great, and then she lost to Charlotte and just lost all her steam.
She did.
She was like crying at WrestleMania, and then just did nothing for a while, and came back with stupid hair, and it's just like now she's just another superstar. And they can build her back up, but it's gonna be difficult.
And this was a nice reminder that she's really good, and they found something good with Mercedes Martinez. They've tried her a couple times already, and
But I think if they want to build Martinez, I don't think Rhea Ripley should have done this at the expense of
I don't know if they want to build Martinez so much as they have. She's like the gatekeeper to the top level of the women's division.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. We'll see.
For faces. I really like Martinez. I thought she looked really good too. I liked this match overall.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the show overall?
Overall, I thought it was good. Again, I liked last week's better, but
what would you give it?
The title match was kind of disappointing to me. Those are two guys I really
good was not as good as it could have been, right?
I really loved. As I've grown as a wrestling fan, I've been watching both of them for a while because I started when Balor was just moving up from NXT. So I've seen his whole main roster career and Cole.
And you followed Cole closely since the second he got there.
Yeah. Just because I see him in Ring of Honor, you had showed me, I'm just like, this guy's cool. So then, then
he
I saw him
star written all over him from a long time ago. But yeah,
just the point is, two guys I really do like, and just really two talented guys. Character, maybe Balor not right now, but that's okay. He's shown he can be at times. Anyways, two talented guys, just all rounders, and it was just, given how good these two are, I expected much better.
I agree. What do you think overall show?
Overall show, I would say, I don't know, guess a B-.
Okay. I went a little higher. I gave it a B. I said the opener was strong. I still like that match.
It was, but like I said, it was kind of disappointing. Yeah.
A really good main event, bookended some otherwise like only decent stuff in the middle, I thought. Yeah. I gave it a B-level show, which means I liked some, but never felt like my time was being wasted either, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm trying to define, like that's about what a B-level is for me. I'm not saying I loved it, but there was some stuff I really liked, and then the rest didn't waste my time.
Right. It was just like there, but nothing was total.
Like I wasn't like, oh my God, looking at the clock and when is this over? But I also wasn't like riveted and just lost track of time, which is what I hope for sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this was good.
All right. Moving into any other wrestling business.
Yep.
Do you have anything you want to? I'm not going to take too long.
Just
We're approaching
SmackDown and
at about an hour 40 right now.
So Last week on SmackDown, not yesterday, but the week before, Bayley and Sasha split, which is interesting. Bayley, the one to attack Sasha.
Right.
And then she explained her actions. It was kind of confusing, but just saying that she knew Sasha was just kind of trying to keep her close, I guess. And, like, even when Bayley won the Raw Women's title a few years ago, Sasha was still there, right? So, sorry. But just saying, she knew that Sasha was using her because then Bayley was using her just to, and, like, she didn't care about Two Belts Banks, and, like, and then so, yeah, she turned on her, and then also Nikki Cross earned a SmackDown Women's title match.
Yeah, I saw that.
At Clash of Champions against Bayley, and then Bliss turning on Cross again. She hit his sister Abigail on the outside.
I'm tired of those
which
two.
has people going crazy.
I'm tired of those two and their whole, I don't know. They're together, they're not together.
But Bliss hitting with his sister Abigail during that Fatal 4-Way number one contenders match has got people talking, so
nice.
Interesting.
And the Bayley-Sasha feud should be awesome.
On the same last week's SmackDown where Bayley and Sasha split, so we're going to get a 4-way, which I think was what Riddle, Corbin, Sheamus, and Big E. Big E got attacked, and his replacement was Jey Uso. Obviously, Jey Uso has to win, so Jey Uso is challenging for the Universal Championship.
I'm
at Clash of Champions.
So I think the point, it better be that even though this is Roman Reigns' family, he is going to just murder him, is what I hope. Like an absolute, like
he respects his
out
family,
of hand, like you need to stop, he's your family, just beat down to establish Reigns is what I'm hoping for.
But he's half of a tag team and half of a tag team that's all they've been. It's not like the New Day where they were previously had singles success. Maybe.
Which that's what leads me to believe that's the only reason they're doing it is because of this family tie, and it's going to just be Reigns killing him.
Another interesting thing that's going to go down on Raw this Monday, Mickie James is challenging Asuka for the Raw Women's title.
That could be really good. Mickie James is awesome.
They faced off at TakeOver Toronto, the first one.
If they could ever stop just making fun of her for being old or whatever, or what they like.
Piggy James.
Somehow they disrespect Mickie James at every turn, but she's awesome. So hopefully that's a good match. We've also
got another steel cage match, not a battle of badasses.
How do you know? Could be.
Well, Dominic Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. I'll let you decide.
Yeah, hey, Dominic's been doing a good job in the role he's in, from what I've seen. Not that I'm watching much of it.
The involvement of his mom and his sister is unnecessary because they clearly have no involvement in the business, so get them away.
I guess. I haven't watched it too closely.
Me neither, but I just noticed that and then we got Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
I'm predicting a no finish with Randy Orton getting involved.
Makes sense. Leading to a triple threat that's coming, right? I think. Yeah.
But honestly, I don't really care. Sorry, Keith Lee, but they really did butcher his start. That ring gear, just the way he debuted. He got the win over Orton, but I just feel like he could build up to that. I think he could have had a feud, maybe even if he just whooped Dolph Ziggler.
He should just be just racking up wins, decisive wins against mid-card fodder, and then building to
Dolph
something.
Ziggler, Bobby Roode. Oh, and I just found out earlier today, Mandy Rose got traded to Raw.
Oh, did she?
And also, I don't care.
Right, agreed.
Yeah, I just don't care about her. I know you were watching Impact.
Oh, yes, I did. So let me recap Impact. So it started out with a really good recap of the championship match from last week. It really made this match look epic, and it's nice to see that Impact is capable of this sort of work. The package looked really good, and I liked the match, but it made it look even more intense than it actually was. We start out with Eric Young. He comes out and he says he took out Swan by design and that everything that's been going on is by his design. Good old Alyssa comes out and confronts Alicia, EY, calls him a coward who injures people, and Eddie will come back and take what belongs to him. She goes on about her family and Eddie not being able to hold his own kids. Young says he doesn't care and immediately gets slapped. He sets up to pile drive her, but Dreamer comes out with a kendo stick to make the save. So now
Dreamer cares why.
So now Dreamer cuts a promo, and I put, really? We're just bringing people out to cut promos now? This is the third person in a string instead of getting to a match or something. But anyways.
Or anything interesting.
Somehow Alicia is Dreamer's family, and they stayed when he left, and EY is scum, and he wants to hurt other guys. I know what happened. Et cetera, et cetera.
Alicia divorced Eddie. No. And she's pretending to feel sorry for him now.
So EY and Dreamer are going to have a match tonight. So nice passion by Dreamer when he came out, but way too much yelling into the microphone. There was actually distortion. It was like, as we call it, clipping, right? A lot of it going on, which was by Alicia and Tommy Dreamer. Alicia is awful on the mic, yet she gets a chance to talk every week. So I don't know if I'm missing something, or maybe she is good and I don't know it, but I find her like change the channel bad. We watch Moose board an airplane.
Nice.
That's it for that, honestly.
Really, Moose boarding an airplane.
Taya wants to plan Bravo and Rosemary's wedding and will make it the wedding of the century. Taya's really good all around in ring and talking. They just need to give her...
I'm sorry, Taya, but who cares?
They need to give her something interesting to do because she's awesome.
Yeah.
Chris Bay versus TJP in a really good match that got a fair amount of time here. Bay looked incredible compared to the way he looked in their paper... Well, whatever their...
Or in the triple threat.
Yes, that I thought wasn't good. Rohit was at ringside in an amazingly loud shirt that kind of reminded me of some of the stuff The Rock used to wear.
What was it?
It was like a kind of, I think it was gold. You know, I'm colorblind, but it looked like it was like had metallic-y gold design all over the top of it. It looked pretty cool.
Oh, like a pattern shirt.
Nothing anyone would actually wear in real life, but if you're a heel wrestler who's arrogant, it's a really nice shirt.
Right, like a pattern shirt. Right.
TJP blocked the sunset and got a roll-up victory. It's because I'm trying to go fast because not many people care about this part. It was a very strong match. TJP can wrestle, but he's just not very interesting, and I think Chris Bay is the total package, but this match was really good. I quite enjoyed it. Moving into locker room talk with Madison Rayne. Johnny Swinger's back since Wrestle House is over, and he's actually entertaining, so that helps, which is normally my least favorite segment on some of these shows. Kylie Ray and Susie are her guests. And obviously then Purrazzo and Kimberly show up because Purrazzo isn't happy that Kylie Ray interrupted the black tie affair last week. So this sets up a tag match between Kylie Ray and Susie versus Purrazzo and Kimberly.
Where's Sue Young?
And the match is accepted.
I want Sue Young.
I think she'll show up at some time.
I hope so.
Then we get Kira Hogan and Tasha Steele. They're talking to Bravo, and they're trying to become his groomsmen by encouraging Bravo to stand up to Taya. And I'm not sure why these two want to be in this wedding at all, but I thought Tasha Steele and Kira Hogan.
Oh,
I thought don't like either of them. Tasha Steele's performance and charisma were awesome here. Like, she reminds me of a heel.
I've never seen her much, but I didn't like Kira Hogan. Remember she was at the alley?
One of my notes that I wasn't going to read, but since you brought that up, I feel like she's what Kira Hogan's been trying to be for quite a while now. This girl, like Tasha Steele, her charisma was amazing.
Isn't it Tasha Steeles with a Z?
Steeles, whatever. Who cares? Yes. She had like a heel Sasha Banks vibe to her. I was really impressed. Brian Myers versus Willie Mack. Short match with a low blow and impaler DDT by Myers for the win. Nothing of note, just to let us know the most professional wrestler's a cheater, but it was fine.
Most professional wrestler is being unprofessional.
Right, exactly.
Well, what do you know?
Jordan Grace is wondering where Tennille Dashwood has been and goes backstage to look for her. She gets to Dashwood's locker room, knocks on the door, and her personal photographer answers the door, who I found out later is Kaylee Conley, I think a wrestler.
Caleb Conley?
Well, they said Kaylee Conley, so I don't know. I think it might be. It looked really different.
I've seen Caleb Conley
before. I've seen him wrestle a bunch of things.
He was with Trevor Lee and Eli Drake, remember?
Yes, he was. So Grace's delivery isn't great at times, but I think she's awesome. Conley's performance was not believable at all. I thought he was pretty bad, actually. We then switch to Taya Valkyrie telling Kira Hogan and Tasha Steeles to stay away from Johnny Bravo. They argue and Taya pretends not to know who Steeles is, and a match is made between the two of them.
Which two?
Taya and Steeles.
Okay. Thank God it's not Kira Hogan.
Right. We then get, the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Rascals, which are Dez and Wentz for this match for the tag team championships. Rascals show their aggressiveness right away. They dive onto the Guns as they're making their entrance. The story is of the Guns working Wentz's knee for most of this match, and he does a pretty good job of selling it.
Remember seeing Zachary Wentz as just like a jobber before?
We did.
Rascals, right?
Yep, we did. Dez has a pretty awesome hot tag in this match, and it ends with Wentz's injury slowing him down, and he takes the tandem finisher by the Machine Guns and is pinned.
What is that? What's their finisher? I don't know it. So
I didn't write what it is down.
Okay.
The Machine Guns retain, and I really like this match too, and it was a well-told story of Wentz's leg injury. Mm-hmm. After the match, the North comes out to attack the Guns. Then Fulton and Austin show up, and finally the Good Brothers arrive, and they're sort of displaying their pretty decent tag team division that they have, which I said, hello, WWE. Here's 4 decent tag teams in a company that's not very big.
One of which you let slip between your fingers.
Yes. So this was a pretty good match with a decent segment afterwards.
I think also if they kept Alex Shelley in NXT, they could have done the time splitters.
Ugh, I don't need time splitters. I don't know. I'm not. Kushida's not doing much for me.
Yeah, but maybe he could have if they had the time splitters.
I guess. So this decent way to showcase a decent division in the company after a pretty good match. Next segment is RVD and She Who Shall Not Be Named announced the premiere of their whole effing talk show next week. A segment where these two only talk and RVD doesn't wrestle. Impact may be trolling me at this point. I feel like I have to see RVD and he won't be wrestling at all. And it's with her. Tasha Steelz versus Taya Valkyrie. We have Taya dominating early. Hogan's distracting Taya so Steelz can gain advantage. Bravo is distracted on his phone, presumably making wedding plans. Taya is too powerful. She powerbombs Steelz. Need a face for 2. Spear and a Road to Valhalla, and Taya wins. Short match.
Road to Valhalla? What?
Short match. Taya's a star. Steelz will be a star, I think, but the wedding storyline.
But she has to ditch Hogan.
The wedding storyline is a waste of all involved so far, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Eric Young, Tommy Dreamer in an old school match, which just means hardcore, and it hit me in this match. 2020 Tommy Dreamer is exactly Terry Funk at some point in his career, like somewhere around the middle-aged and crazy.
Good or bad?
Just like he's well past his prime, but he can still do a hardcore match. And he even had a bandana on and looked like a little bit like Funk.
Right, because Funk was in ECW.
Very similar. Very standard hardcore match with garbage cans, chairs, kendo sticks. It ends with a low blow, hockey mask shot, and a pile driver by Young for the win.
So that's the finisher he's going with?
Yes, I guess.
It's cheating. NXT, he had, the pile driver, but...
He had a wheelbarrow neck breaker or something?
Right.
Yes.
Which is weird, because what if he's facing, like, Killian Dane?
But now his pile driver looks really good, and WWE doesn't allow it, right? So.
Yep.
Post-match attack by Young, kendo stick, leg in, chair. Rich Swann shows up in a walking cast and crutches. What a surprise. His career may not be over. Shocking. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything great either. It was really just a super typical hardcore match.
What?
So overall, I'm happy to say this was probably the best episode of Impact I've watched since we started doing this.
Huh.
But it was still lacking in some parts. The TJP Bay match was really good. The tag team title match was really good. Eric Young's character is interesting. Tasha Steelz really stood out to me, and I've never thought anything about her in the past, so I'm interested to see more from her. Myers seems to be doing a decent job of at least distancing himself from his WWE persona, and I
his gimmick was to lose.
Taking notes, Heath Slater, taking notes on this. Get away from your WWE persona.
And Eric Young's doing a good job too.
A relatively easy show to watch, I thought. No more Wrestle House and a minimal RVD and his second.
And minimal, what was it, the locker room talk?
Yes, and Swinger is actually funny, so him being back helped it a lot. No crowd still really hurts though, but I gave it a B-, so it's in the actual B range this week, which is nice.
Nice.
And my only other wrestling was to say that Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, one of my guilty pleasures. It's a pretty lame 1-hour show that's free on the Fight app. It's back with empty arena shows. They introduced some new wrestlers, including one called the King of the Fat Boys, and a trio of guys I've seen in a couple other places that we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So I'm just happy it's back. It's a quick 1-hour show that's kind of cheesy, name. But a lot of wrestlers that go on to other companies end up going through there. So that's why I like to check it out. Mm-hmm. Whew. All right, buddy. You ready?
Sure.
You look like you're fading on me over there.
No, I'm just... Okay, I'm good.
So our final segment is we'll turn it over to Jackson, and he's going to let us know what's new in the world of wrestling figures in our final segment of every week, Figuring It Out with Jack.
Are you taking a break?
No.
What?
Go.
Oh, I thought we were going.
No.
Sorry.
You're on. We're live. No, we're not live, but you're on. Professional.
So the only thing I've got for this is we got revealed on Ringside's Instagram Championship Showdown 2-packs. So at first there was some confusion of what these would be, but looking on their website, you see the price, and they are under battle pack, so they should be basics. And so yeah, I'm going to assume that they'll at least come with championships, because they're Championship Showdown 2-packs. So we got Series 1 and 2 revealed. Series 1 includes Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss.
Nice.
Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy.
Sure.
And Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor.
Nice.
So looking at the image here, Roman Reigns and Finn Balor is going to be from, I think it was August 22nd, 2018, if I had to guess. It was August 2018, the night after SummerSlam 2018, after Roman Reigns had defeated Brock Lesnar. And he gave Balor the title opportunity because up until that point he had never gotten his fair title match after he got injured. So that's what that appears to be from. Banks and Alexa Bliss. Now, originally I would have thought that this would be from the SummerSlam 2017 or the night after SummerSlam 2017 because at SummerSlam Sasha beat Alexa for the title but then lost it the night after.
Right.
Because that's what she does.
She never defends, so that had to happen.
Yeah. But judging by the image, just because Sasha Banks has blue hair, this might have a women's tag title or two with it.
Nice.
Which I think would be cool. But I don't think, I think there could be a chance it's not that, because the upcoming Alexa Bliss Elite does have the tag title, but maybe this will be another way to get the tag title, so then you have two, maybe.
For sure, could be.
Unless they do, like, the lower quality titles, then you'd have one looking good and one looking not good.
So great, yep.
Anyways, our last one, Undertaker and Jeff Hardy. Now, for those of you who know, you would probably assume it's Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy ladder match from 2002 on Raw for the Undisputed title, but this appears to be like maybe 2008, 2009 Jeff Hardy. So
Can't
it looks
believe you
to
know
be
the
that.
difference, but of course
No,
you
just
do.
like before he left, I guess. And in the case of this, it could come with a ladder because the image shows Taker holding a ladder. So, or a ladder in the image. I don't think he's actually holding it. But anyways, so it's not going to be from 2002. I think it'll be from late 2000s. But still, it looks good. And Jeff Hardy should have face paint in that, so which is good because always makes a good figure. So
face paint talk.
Series 2, we got Bobby Lashley versus Booker T. Judging from the image, this looks to be King Booker era maybe, or just before. If this is a championship showdown, I can either see because Bobby Lashley was might have been U.S. champion around this time, so it's either that or maybe when King Booker was world heavyweight champion, so it'll be maybe that. We got Triple H versus The Rock, some sort of Attitude Era one, so that's what you'll be getting there. And Randy Orton and John Cena, the images of them raising their titles, so this will be from the title unification match at TLC 2013. Much like The Undertaker and Jeff Hardy. This could come with a ladder if Mattel's going to do other accessories. But we'll see. This looks interesting, and I do look forward to seeing these. This could be like the few Hall of Champions 2-packs they did. They did like one of them was Cena and Batista, came with the spinner title and an over-the-limit chair.
Right.
Or Ambrose and Miz came with the Ambrose Asylum TV thing and the Intercontinental title.
Yep.
We had the Revival with NXT tag titles and steel stairs, just the top bit, but still. Or what we've seen just actually in real life, we saw Fan Central battle packs at Toys R Us. We had Rollins and Edge, which had like a ladder and a Money in the Bank briefcase, and then Taker and Sting, which had like a gravestone and a surfboard. Those aren't championships, but it'd be like a similar thing, I would assume, maybe. So I look forward to seeing this, and these could be a cool concept just as a one-off kind of series.
Do you think we'll ever see them anywhere?
Yeah, because they're not ringside exclusive. So, and this just reminds me, we've never seen the Elite 2-packs here yet.
No, we have not.
And those are not ringside exclusive. So
that's why I'm wondering if we'll see these.
Yep. But I hope to, because these look interesting. It might be a cool way to get championships, and I still don't have a Bobby Lashley, so.
Right.
Although I do want to get the Series 112 one with the tights, because, I don't know, because it's current, so.
Yep.
But yeah, so that'll wrap it up. Nothing much here, but just got some reveals for new little series we got here.
Awesome. That was a great job. Well, another week's in the books. We're approaching 2 hours, so that's a good time for us to sign off and go
probably
have a rest and publish this and see if we can get up on all the things.
Right.
So as always, thanks to everybody for listening to us. We really appreciate it. Some of our numbers seem to be climbing on some of our episodes. I was looking today.
Yeah, checking, and
so that's
interesting.
That's amazing.
But
we'll take it. We appreciate all the support. Yep. So thanks again for listening. You can obviously find us on YouTube, FNS Wrestling. We're on Podbean, FNS Wrestling, fnswrestling@gmail.com if you want to drop us an email.
And on Podbean, you can just search sports and then wrestling. And
and on Instagram.
FNS_wrestling_podcast. If you go follow us on there, you'll be updated on when the podcast is in progress, when it's uploaded, and just other stuff.
It is generally on Podbean a little bit faster because it's just a lot quicker to publish to Podbean than
but
a 2-hour
I'll usually do an
YouTube.
update when it's uploaded on both, so then you have an option, I guess.
We'll make sure you find us, don't worry.
Yeah, we'll make sure.
So thanks very much. We hope everyone has a good week, and if you're back at school, stay safe, and if you're going back to school, be safe, and we will see you at this.
And if you're going back to school, I send my condolences.
Of course. We'll see you same time, same place-ish next week. Until then, take care.